Hey, we're 4 seconds in, look at that.
All right, okay, today's Monday, July 15th, 2019. It is 6 o'clock. This is a meeting of the Hanson Recreation Commission. We are in the Needles Lodge at Camp Kiwanee in the library. This meeting is being video recorded for the Whitman-Hanson Community Access. Those in attendance are Diane Cohen,
Brian Fazzetti.
Joe Fazzetti, Melissa Scartusi, Judy Hartway,
Bill Boyle.
and in the audience, we have Selectman Matt Dyer, Caretaker Maddie Story, Beach Director Emma Musette, Caretaker Jen Harriet, and I don't know your name.
Chris Cameron.
And Chris Cameron. Okay. All right, so has everyone had a chance to read meeting minutes from the last, from January 1 and from
July 1.
July 1, I'm sorry. Yeah, at this point I want you to know it's January. From July 1 and May 13th and June 3rd. We had some catching up to do. Has everybody read them?
June 3rd is
June 3rd is incomplete because they were recording problems. Has
Right.
everybody read what they've received to read for approval? Yes? Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from those 3 meetings mentioned?
So moved.
Would anyone like to second?
I second.
Okay, thank you. All right. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Department head update. Bill, go right ahead.
I'll bring up the platform really quick. I believe Ed's still gonna finish staining the railings themselves, but the platform is up. You can land a helicopter on it. The building inspector has been out to see it. So he likes everything. The one comment he made about it is just looking to see if we can build a little ramp to it so that it'll be,
Handicapped accessible?
yeah, ADA accessible. And other than that, he said everything on it is solid, looks good, so.
I came around, I walked around when nobody was here, did a little weeding, and I stepped on it and looked over it. It is very, very
It's-
solid.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it
So-
gives you a nice view.
Yeah, I mean, the view's great. I know people used to take pictures over there in the past anyway, and now it's just kind of enhanced the area, so.
Yep, looks great.
So with the platform, I mean, we're obviously, for the most part, good to go on that one. Concert series. So I've been going back and forth with the band manager for Hey Isabella. It looks like August 16th we'll be able to have a show. You know, bearing the blessing of, you know, paying the band. I have to meet with Todd tomorrow just to go over a couple things in terms of ticket pricing and kind of the way we pay the band. Because there's kind of ways that I think they do it when they're, you know, not dealing with a municipality that we may not be able to, you know, pay them.
Up front.
Well, not up front, but they a lot of times do a guarantee and then a door split. And
We can't do that.
we might not be able, so that's what I'm gonna find out tomorrow. So I told him that I couldn't confirm that we could do that because I need to talk to the powers that be to make sure we can do it the right way.
So is Todd the person that would be able to tell you that?
Yeah, so I had to talk with him to, you know, figure that out.
He's able to tell you the legality of it
I believe,
versus just
yeah.
the budget?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go in and talk to him tomorrow. In the event if we're just, you know, kind of paying the guarantee, so it would be, you know, $1,000 for the band, and then they would have an opener that would be another $100 to $150 roughly.
So we're talking roughly $1,300.
Yeah, like 1,200 right in there. So it'd be August 16th.
Time?
Doors would open at 6. I think the opener would go till about 7:30. And then, you know, the main show would go till 10.
Okay. And that would be
No food, just, yeah.
just.
That's why, I mean, the music's not gonna start till later, to give people a chance if they wanna go and grab something to eat. It's just, in terms of trying to make sure we can do it in August and all that, it's just one less thing that we have to worry about planning is the catering and all that.
What about the bar?
The bar will contract the bar
The
service.
80-20
and
split.
everything, Yeah.
Okay,
No food but bar.
no food.
Yes,
with-
I mean, and that's, people gonna, come for a show, they at least wanna be able to relax. And
We're hoping people will drink responsibly.
Of course,
Yes.
we would, well, they will, because we're gonna,
Make sure of it.
yes,
Thank
exactly.
you. And so the $1,200 is for the cover band and for Haley Sabella.
Well, yeah, it would be the, not the cover, but whoever they use, they usually have one or two openers that they typically do.
Okay, and we can hold 200 people in there. Is that,
Yeah, the max capacity is 200.
okay, is that what we're shooting for?
If we can get a packed house, yeah, that would be
Fantastic.
awesome.
Okay,
Fantastic.
I mean,
so,
even at, 125, 150 is still, that's a pretty good night for us.
Are you talking wood tables as well?
What I'm gonna work out with them, we may either do theater style seating, so have the main center aisle and then chairs on either side, or tables, or we might do a little bit of both. So depending on, we wanna see what pre-sale is gonna be, because if it looks like it's gonna be packed, then we probably won't do tables. But if we're not gonna have as big of, an event, sometimes the tables help spread everybody out a little bit more and makes it appear more packed than it is. So,
okay,
that was something we were gonna work out as we got closer to figure out how many people we had coming.
okay.
Have you got a price set up or an idea of any price that you're gonna do?
For the tickets, we're looking at probably 15 to 20 bucks, right in that range.
I prefer to go 20.
Yeah, and one of the questions that I have, and again, I don't know that we're able to do it, encouraging people to do, pre-sale, so buy them ahead of time. We gotta see how we allowed to do maybe 15 bucks and then 20 at the door. We might just have to make it a set, whether it's 15 or 20, and that's that. So that's another question I will,
For a couple.
that I will confirm.
Okay.
Just to make sure we're not putting anything out there and then,
Just let us know so we can vote on it,
yeah,
whether we even want to do that, or just keep it one flat rate.
okay. Well, do we wanna do a tentative
Yeah, we could do a tentative motion, if anybody wants to have any further discussion on it about the price we charge. Do we want to have a different price for pre-sale rather than at the door? Do we want to charge?
Yeah, that's common practice, I don't see
Yeah,
any
it's
conflict, we should do
Yeah.
that. Definitely,
So
urgency to
if we're allowed
pre-sale.
to,
And do you
Yeah.
want to do 15 and 20?
Yeah, I'd say, because if you want to do the pre-sale, that's, urgency's there, get it at $15, and a lot of people will, just to save the $5, so that way you can differentiate,
Yes.
And are we going through Unipay with all of this?
so Unipay, especially on the pre-sale side, so I've been working with Jeannie on that because Unipay will be able to create a link for us to do the pre-sale tickets. One thing we may be looking at is, again, night of, people paying at the door. We should be able to utilize a bank up there, but we may have the option too of people being able to use their credit card. We're looking into that. I don't know if we'd be able to have that in place in time. That would be possibly through a different service, but Unipay will be handling the pre-sale side.
Okay, so if there is a possibility to do credit, debit, or whatever, I want to know the fee and how we're doing it, swiping, and do we have internet?
We may run into it, if internet's gonna be an issue, we might be able to at least have a laptop set up if people really wanna register online and use their card. That might also be an avenue where we can have them do
That's
that.
gonna
Your cell
cause
phone, you
major
just go on your-
problems.
What's that?
That's gonna cause a major problem. You don't have a swipe?
No, but if it's Unipay though too, they don't have the swipe, that's a Square thing, but if you have your cell phone, you can just purchase the ticket right on your cell phone.
It wasn't there an app, didn't that woman, whoever came in and talked to us about Unipay, wasn't there some kind of app?
Yeah.
They have their swiping capabilities for Unipay, it's just you have to buy the card swipe and have it attached to your computer. The other thing with Unipay, I know with the season passes, it took them like over a month to get it up and running, once I gave
To
them.
get the links and everything.
Yeah, so if you do that, I would get it to them as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So seeing as how it's July 15th already, and we're talking about a month away, let's do whatever is going to work
Yeah,
the smoothest, with always keeping in mind that that is the route we do want to go to
Yeah.
for future events. So maybe get it
Yeah.
up and running for another one.
And I think once we have a link in terms of, being able to sell tickets and things like that, we might be able to use that for other events. I think it's just setting us up so that we can, actually charge people for tickets. So I think once they have that platform set up, we should be able to, use it interchangeably with other stuff.
Right, I just don't want the event to be going on as we're making sure it's set up right.
Right.
I just want to make sure that whatever we're doing is going to run smoothly, and then at the next event,
Yeah.
if there's a few
add
weeks
on.
in between, we can practice swiping
Yeah,
or whatever we've got to do.
Discussion, Mark.
Yes.
On the, for advertising, once you know what the preliminary is gonna be, you need to set up a poster. You
Oh,
need
yeah.
to make some out, put it on the website, but get some out and get them around town. Put them at the different locations, because if we're not advertising it, you're not gonna get any people. And just keeping it on the website or any, just on,
Well, it's
you know,
gonna be all
Facebook.
over social media. I am slated in about a week or two to go into WATD to work with John Shea, who does the Almost Famous program. Haley's been on his program before, so he knows her. I'm seeing if they'd be able to do a broadcast live from the camp that night. He said he might not be able to do that, but at least help us with some PSAs and things, so
But
we'll be good.
prior to it, to get sales in there, I mean, like, I'm sure Sandy's would put Cumberland Farms would probably put a poster out. I mean, you could go to all your food places that people go in and eat at. Shaw's will put one out. And I'm sure you can even go into Stop and Shop in Whitman and get some of those things out too. I mean, you've got to be able to, get the advertising out.
Yes, Jen?
Newspaper too.
Jen?
You could do, I don't know if you could maybe put it on that electronic sign that's in front of the town hall. You could do that, so people drive, as they drive to the center of town, they can see it.
Okay.
Because I noticed the other day, something on there said Camp Kiwanee as I went by it.
Yeah,
Didn't
they'll be
catch
using
exactly
for
what
that.
it was, but. there's
Okay,
something
so we
in
need
Camp
multi-methods of advertising. Whenever you get a flyer, let me know, and I can help put them around, and I'm
Yeah.
sure we can get other people to help as well.
Yeah, so do I need the motion from the board to be able to spend money to do the flyers? Or can we put that all in one motion, essentially? To make it,
Julie?
Yeah, I have with the marketing situation, the crowd, you have to think about the crowd that's coming.
Exactly.
They're not gonna be looking at the posters at Sandy's, they're not gonna be looking at the posters, but we should have them, definitely have them. I worry about the cost, because I know you're talking about overhead. So with printing, I know when we printed those posters, you can go to cheaper places, but they're $16 a pop. I mean, if you're talking a big poster, if you're talking another flyer, you're just gonna get lost amongst all the other flyers. So I would say, if anything, definitely the social media aspect. If we have an email that we can send out, sharing it with other organizations I can, promote. I just be very careful with flyers, because then it just becomes an added cost. And if you really take a look, and we can do this at the event, but I'm going to gauge more than anything, 9 out of the 10 people are going to say, I saw it online. So therefore, you're going to have a marketing cost of $100 versus zero cost, say on Facebook, and 9 out of 10 people saw it online. So just be careful. I think I would hate to see all that money,
Wasted.
added to the brand, that's all.
I have a question. What is her target audience? I don't know her.
I mean, the times we've been to her shows, you really get a mix of probably early 20s to maybe late 60s or early 70s. Because again, it's music that anybody can go and enjoy.
Okay.
What's the genre, what's the?
She's like Americana, she's, kind of bluegrassy folk sing. I mean, she's a singer-songwriter.
Okay, so a wide range.
Yeah.
All right. So do we want to make a motion then once, are there any other discussion?
Do you want to keep it at a value, like $100, no more than $100?
On
And-
marketing?
I mean, is that a reason? No more than $100 in publications, like posters and things, or is that too low?
Emma, do you have a comment?
I made all the posters for the events that we had down at the Cove last year. I could easily make them again. The town hall has the big sheets of paper if you want.
8.5 by 11s.
No, like the big, like,
14 by 17.
yeah.
17.
And they have it's a whole printing thing at the town hall.
I printed them right off this printer in here.
Oh.
Was
I think
there
we
no
already
cost? No cost associated?
It was just what our normal ink and
Okay.
everything is.
You might consider Webster Printing. I know it's a cost, but I've worked with them in the past and they're very reasonable. You always can get a quote if you don't like it.
And where
Yeah,
are
we
they?
talked to them, and I.
They're on
Hanson, East
14
Bridgewater, Five Corners,
Okay.
West Washington.
Do we want to
just a thought.
have a dollar amount to spend on advertising?
I think so, you have to, or else it'll just.
Yes, Joan?
Webster Printing used to do things for the camp, and they used to donate their services, so that might be something to look at, you might put to get them done, you know. As
Okay.
long as you're not asking, you know, for the little and fancy posters, I'm sure that they'll be able to print some out for you.
Well, I mean, I'll reach out to a few different avenues and
Okay. In the event that we cannot get things donated, do we want to put a dollar amount on the advertising for this event?
So, like a rule of thumb would be if 200 people are coming in here, and let's say we get $20 out of those people, the max you can get, help me with the math folks,
$4,000.
$4,000.
gross 4,000.
So if it's a $4,000 gross, you know, you could probably take a look at the percentage that you would like. I think spending more than 10% of that is ridiculous.
Yes.
So cannot be, I'd say, under $400.
How about two?
That's, 2 is reasonable.
Two within reason.
2 is reasonable, okay, there, consensus.
Okay, so, would someone like to make a motion then, in preparation for the August 16th concert given by Haley Sabella, sponsored by Camp Kiwanee, right? To have advanced ticket price sales be $15 and tickets at the door be $20, pending approval from the powers that be at Town Hall with Todd and anybody else regarding the legal situation with it all, and to spend no more than $200 on advertising for said event.
And the cost of the band. Can we throw that in there? Just-
And to spend,
There's something else?
I'm sorry,
What about 2025 tickets?
okay, more discussion.
I'll just throw out, when I talked to her manager, she said that for a lot of the shows they do, the ticket prices are usually around $15.
Okay.
Granted, down this year, I think we probably could get 20 to 25. But I think especially, again, first event and all that, and really just trying to make sure we get people in the door and it's successful. I think doing 15 and 20, again, it's reasonable, it's not outrageous, especially down in this area. I think maybe as we get more acclimated and certainly this becomes more of a music destination for people, then and especially depending on the acts too, that also influences.
Well, yeah, that's.
But I think for this one, if we stay in the 15 to 20 range, we're probably playing it a little safer.
Any further discussion on this topic? Okay, then, would someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion to, pending approvals, to keep the ticket prices between $15 through $20 and spend no more than $200 on posters and $1,000 for the band. Is that correct?
12.
13, yeah, I'd say 13.
Let's, say 13 because it'll come in under that, so at least, okay.
$1,300, no more than $1,300 for the band.
So good.
Okay, all those in favor?
Right.
Aye. Okay.
All right.
All right, so that's covered.
Yeah, so I will be going to town hall tomorrow to finalize all of that.
Thank you, Bill.
Pleasure.
Okay. All right, so between 6:15 and 6:30, the Friends of Camp Kiwanee. Is that you guys? Hey, Herbert, wait, okay.
With the Friends of Camp Kiwanee, we've been a little quiet, but we have a proposal that we would like to maybe do with you, recreation activity. It's kind of an end of the summer day at the Cove. And what we would do, we'd probably have snow cones, maybe free kayak rentals, let the people swim. We'd have little contests going, we find our popcorn machine that's here, and different activities for people to come, promote goodwill in the community, use the Cove, have people come up here and look around. What we
Similar to
would,
the Cranberry Cove kickoff, which we
Right.
haven't done in a few years.
We did it last year.
but that type of
We
thing,
did,
what we
yeah.
would have with you is that, you know, you would pay the lifeguards, and we would just forego gate charges and
For one
kayak rentals for that one day. And maybe some people would volunteer to help us out. That's kind of what we used to do with the rec commission. Just a great day with little activities, people could come and go, just for like 3 hours, you know,
More
12 to
exposure.
3, that type of thing.
Okay.
Is this similar to an open house, or you sort of a concept?
Yeah, but at the Cove.
Yeah.
Every year that we've had it, we have run a Cove Kickoff Day. We did it the last 3 years. We didn't do it this year because of timing, everything, and was graduating and things like that. But we ran some very successful,
It was that we didn't have staff.
and we didn't have staff. Yeah,
I
that's
had to put it in front of us.
We didn't have staff. And so the last 2 years, yeah, well, because I was there at Cove Kickoff, and we had hula hoops, and John had his DJ van out. We rented stuff from Country Rentals, and it was a big event, and everybody really had a great time. We did that the last 2 years. So we didn't do it this year because we were unsure of staff and just everything getting up and running. So you're suggesting sort of doing like a Cove Kickoff at the end of the year, sort of like a
Right.
And it's usually a free event. It doesn't generate any money for us or anything, but it's a nice thing to have for
A recreational.
Right.
a recreation activity. Yes, Emma?
We have always, the past couple of years, have still charged admission for the event.
For the Cove Kickoff?
Yes.
So what, I'm kind of confusing the.
Like, we still charge the gate fee and everything.
The fun day that you, that's come.
That's different.
That's different, yeah.
What is?
It's like an end of the summer, like, party for the little kids. We do like a bunch of events, fun games, sandcastle building contest, mommy art, like, just a bunch of different things. We changed up a little bit last year, we had a few different, like, new events. But it's more like geared towards like the younger ones. I'd say the oldest that we have is like probably 11 or 12.
That was usually mostly swim team kids too, that
Yeah.
did
We had everyone, we had some years,
everyone.
everyone. We had over 200 kids that
Last year.
were there last year.
Margaret?
So just, I'm saying, like, you know, we're the ones that invented Cranberry Cove Kickoffs, you know, so we're just trying to get our foot back in the door, we're trying to reach out, we're trying to make a free recreational activity to get, again, more exposure to the cove, more, you know, again, trying to
Well,
generate.
no,
more.
I understand. I think that's great. I don't want you to get the impression, I'm sure you've been down the
Yeah.
Cove, it's packed every day,
Yeah.
so I mean, exposure's not a problem. Yeah, okay. Any
Is this all
discussion?
ages?
Yeah, all
Yes.
ages, families, we want it to be a family-oriented thing.
Last year we did popcorn.
Yeah, we had our
We
puffin
bought-
machine.
we
We
bought-
bought our own puffin machine.
Right,
We
we
did
got
that,
our
right?
own popcorn machine. I mean,
And we had the
no,
hot
the hot
dogs.
dog machine. We
Yeah.
had the hot dogs last year
Right.
and everything else. I mean, you know, you can charge for the hot dogs if you want to let everybody in free. And I mean, you know, you have the other stuff.
So my question is timing, so what, when did you want to host
We
that?
were thinking of Sunday, the 17th of August, because the kids go back to school really, or start to the next week.
I believe we have an event is that is that your church's thing, Diane?
I'm not sure.
I believe, hold on, let me just check the full calendar.
The others.
That date just sounds
Yeah,
like it
so
popped out
yeah.
of my head. Give me 1 second here.
When is the last day the cove is open?
Labor Day.
Okay, so why could we have the close off just prior to Labor Day rather than when the kids go back?
We wanted to make sure that the kids going back to college would be
Available.
involved and available, yes.
Yeah.
When did they go back?
Usually
Yeah.
Labor Day or the weekend
Before.
before they.
Kids
Yeah.
go, the college kids go back in August.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's been a while, so I just don't
Yeah.
remember.
To put it into perspective, I have a guard that leaves for school on the 8th. I have a guard that leaves for school on the 16th. I have a guard that leaves for school on the 28th.
Yeah.
And then I have one that leaves on the 1st.
Okay, so if that's the 17th, let's say that's a go, when's the other?
You said Sunday the 17th?
Sunday.
Yesterday.
When's the fun day?
When is the set, I don't know.
18th
Whatever
is
the
the
The 8th is Sunday.
When is the fun day?
Fun day is the 26th, and if it's a rain day, it would be the 27th. And the kids go back to school the 28th.
So there's like a week in between to not,
Yeah.
okay, so that's, what's the, 26th is a Sunday, is that what you said?
26th is the Monday, 27th is Tuesday.
And the 28th, they go back to school.
Yeah.
17th is Saturday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So the 18th.
The 18th, so that one we have a big event going on at the Cove.
Do you?
What do we have?
Your church.
Okay.
And there's no way fitting anything else.
No,
when you
I
guys are down there.
know.
We already have to put on 2 extra.
What if you did it on a Saturday?
Some people work, so that would, like, us,
Who would be running?
who would be running it. You know, so that's for us, some of us work on Saturday, and that's always been a problem, but I'm trying to think if we could think of another, and then, different people are taking vacations as well. So that was like, well, that just happened to be a date that we were all available. And I don't know about the next week would be the 25th. Would that be too close to Fun Day?
That would be the day before Fun Day.
Yeah. So that would not be.
Yeah. Well, it's something we
Yeah.
could certainly know that we're available to help with it next
Yeah.
year, and, we can do it next.
Would you guys be interested in maybe doing snow cones for Fun Day?
Fun Day's a Monday?
Yeah.
None of us will be available.
Okay.
So
I mean, the point is for us to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that.
Some people work and
Yeah.
work busy, yeah.
The previous Sunday is not a go,
The 11th.
August.
I don't
August 11th?
know if that would give us enough time.
Yeah.
That would also be very tight with my staff because right now,
You're scheduling meetings.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just one point about that, if it is a free day, then I think the school district, because we would really love to have the school district reach out to Whitman and Hanson. Those are two communities that would be a natural. So if it is free, then I think a good route would be to connect with,
Superintendent, that's how
Yes.
we've always done it.
and then it goes out to the kids. And so I mean, if we can't do it this year, it would
Yeah.
certainly be helpful to do that. But I think so the focus, just so in terms of the marketing, the focus is an open house for the Cove. This is what the Cove is.
Yeah.
And
We're
during that
not
day,
charging people, and again.
is
it's
it gonna just
yeah.
focus on the Cove, or are we gonna have some sort of like activity to showcase, hey, you can camp here too, take a look at this facility, or is it all just Cove?
Well, if people use the kayaks, they can, and again, maybe lifeguards can go with them and give kind of like a little tour with the kayaks and stuff. And that way, people get, that's sort of like something you could do.
Yeah.
You can't really see the cabins or the cabins.
Oh, no, but I'm saying, like, that's certainly, again, in conjunction, there's only 3 or 4 of us.
Right.
So, that's where we're wanting help from this whole body, is that maybe you do every 20 minutes, you do a tour of the camp. If somebody
Yeah, I
on
think
commission does
that's a huge
a tour of
impact.
the, and saying, this is what we have, so that's, not something.
Not just that, but like open up those cabins and then have them come in here, and maybe when they come in here, showcase all of the stuff that we are gonna have on that calendar. Like, our breakfast with the fire department discussion. Do you know what I mean? Kind
Yeah.
of make sure that we capitalize on that if they're gonna be here.
Right, because
And
there
it's
are a
gonna
lot
be
of
free.
right, families in town.
Yeah,
There's a
the
lot of
flyers
rest
are
in
made
these.
up with all the prices of the cabins, so they can give them out to people,
And we can put some of the applications and everything out, and they can,
Grab
material,
materials.
yeah.
Just like we did with Hanson Day. Right,
Yeah, just,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, because we did that then.
So that would be probably a positive, way to connect people to the camp, and like a great informational day. So.
Okay, well, any more discussion on this? Do you want to get back to us with another date then?
We can get in touch with the other people who are on vacation now.
I know it's tough, trying
And
to
see,
coordinate a lot of
that's the
people
problem,
going
we've
through the
been working on
summer.
vacation, we were just trying to get something out there, so we knew that there wasn't a Cove kickoff this year, we thought it'd be great to have end of the season sort of
Well, I
kickoff.
assure you that if the staff is there, we will have one next
Yeah.
year. We just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the.
How many lifeguards did you train this year?
5.
5.
Yeah.
So it's good. We have 5 lifeguards.
We
We
went
have
We have more than that.
10, but
We have
The
we
W
have
is
5 new ones that
Yes.
we returned.
So we trained 5 new lifeguards, and then of the 10 that we have, how many became WSIs?
We have 5 new WSIs.
New ones. That's good.
Brand new, and then we have 1 returning, but he's only here for like 2 weeks of the lesson, so
Okay.
he's doing the last session.
So next year we should be in more solid shape at the beginning of the season.
We're hoping there are gonna be some return
Get
on
it to
cost,
it,
right?
good.
With the
They
wage
will.
increase?
Yes.
Okay, good,
Yes.
good. We need that.
Well, now that we have a director in place, we'll get it all going on better schedule. So,
If you guys need to reach out to me too about any calendar dates, just let me know.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. That's
Thank you.
great. Thanks for wanting to help. That's great. Okay, moving on, the conflict of interest in open meeting law training. Mary has asked that everybody attend one of these sessions. It's happening, everybody received an email.
Yeah, there's 2
There's 2 sessions, one at 4, one at 7. The 4 o'clock one is very, very booked. I'm gonna go to the 7, I know Brian and Joan are gonna go to the 4. Has anybody else signed up?
I think I'm gonna try to go to the 4.
I'm going to 4.
You're going to the 4?
They've actually got a meeting in between it.
Okay, so I'll see you at 7.
You have a meeting in between.
I'll probably do 7.
Okay, so,
Do you have to sign up though? I didn't-
Yeah.
yes, she wanted some notice.
Oh,
So-
so just email her?
Yeah, shoot her an email, just let her know, yeah.
Yeah,
I also saw her this afternoon and she said like 4 o'clock was very full. She asked me to do 7, so if 7 works better for you, she'd prefer you to.
right, that's what she said to
Unless
me as
it's
well.
absolutely.
So maybe
not
4
to
o'clock
do
is full, because I.
Basically, yeah.
It's a really full one,
It's very
but you know what,
tight, yeah.
somebody might not show up, so if you wanna do it, there's.
I would just email her as soon as
She also did say that she has not heard from everybody on every committee about this meeting, and this training. That being said, she is considering the possibility of videotaping it and having people sign off that they watched the video, and like you do online, when you sign your conflict of interest and you do that training online. So if she would prefer, and I hope we can accommodate her as much as possible, that we go to one of these trainings, and if not, there may be a third way to do it.
I know John Zuko already referenced back that he's in Cincinnati, so.
Right,
we already-
and he cannot do
I
it,
won't do anything.
and Brian can't do
I'll be
it.
on the vineyards.
Okay, so there you go. So I mean, it's hard in the summer, people are away and they make plans. All right, any further discussion on that? Okay, moving on. St. Joseph the Worker Pavilion rental for July 18th.
Wednesday.
Bill, would you like to
Yeah, so-
update us on this? Because I have some information myself. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so we were looking at having them come in, they were gonna do a 2-hour pavilion rental instead of 4, because they only need the 2 hours, they have a 5 to 7 window that they were looking for. So they were gonna, come down, rent the pavilion and utilize the cove.
Okay, so a normal rental for the pavilion is
400 for 4
400.
hours.
400 for 4 hours,
Wait,
so.
250. Oh, 250.
I was gonna say it's 200, isn't it? But it's 250. You wanna let them use it for 2 hours
For 125.
for 125. Okay, first off, the Board of Selectmen isn't meeting until next week. And in order to give any kind of break or schedule fee change or whatever, we would have to get it approved by them.
So even though they're only using 2 instead of 4 hours, that's a no.
Yep, we would still have to get it approved.
Okay.
The other thing that Mary said was that with the amount of people that they're going to have, 45 people supposedly,
Somewhere in that, yeah.
to use the cove, we would have to put on another lifeguard.
But he found like 2 extra lifeguards, just in case, like, this afternoon, the 2 lifeguards that were down there were fully utilized.
Well, it was
It was
very,
busy,
right,
exactly.
and I've been down there.
And Fridays have been very busy.
Right, and since we do make people pay for caretakers, during an event,
Yeah.
we do need to have them pay for extra staffing of the lifeguards to go into that budget. So this is what she told me, so
What does that look like? What is the extra staffing in terms of dollars?
it's only for 2
It
hours.
would be 2 hours, but if they're bringing around 45,
Even if it was just one lifeguard,
it would be $30.
it would be
for 2
$30.
hours.
$30, so an extra, so so what we're looking for St. Joe's is 125, a consideration, right, for the Board of Selectmen, 125 plus $30 additional for the lifeguard, so a total of 155?
Yes.
Can we make that?
But
Well,
they
well,
want to have the event
This Friday.
this Friday, and we don't have time to get
No,
it
they want it
approved
Wednesday.
by the Board of Selectmen.
Oh dear.
They want it Wednesday.
No, they want it for Friday.
18th isn't Friday, it's Wednesday.
The 18th is Thursday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, yeah.
Sorry.
It should be Friday.
Oh, so we-
Wrong days.
and-
I know it's a typo.
And it might be that it's the 19th and not the
Yeah.
18th.
Regardless, it is sometime this week, and the Board of Selectmen isn't meeting until Friday, correct? I mean, next week on
We're not meeting until next Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Well, we're having some quick meeting tomorrow, but it's too late to add it to the agenda.
to add it to the agenda.
Is this because of that they're having their VBS?
VBS,
Oh
yes.
gosh.
It's their counselor, so they haven't been here in 3 years. and the last time they came, they brought 12 people, which isn't really a big deal.
Nope.
But when I spoke to her, she very angrily said that they've never paid before when they've come. But I know we do another EBS counselor outing, and they always pay and never ask questions about it, so.
Well, we have policies and regulations,
Yeah.
we can't do that, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just not, we should understand, they're a nonprofit, we're a nonprofit, I don't know who told you that, but that's unfair.
Yeah.
I'm
But
sorry.
to come up with
That's
such
just
short
unfair.
notice is wrong too. They should have at least given you a month's notice.
I'm wondering, when did
Well,
they
they
call
did, but
They reached
her
out.
email had gone to spam on me, so I hadn't seen.
Okay, hold on, I'm sorry. I'm asking a question here. They reached out last month.
Yes.
Okay, and what happened? Did you refer them to Emma or?
Well, they reached out to Emma.
They
Yes.
reached out to you last month. And when did you get in contact with them?
Their email had gone to spam, it went to one of the quarantine summary things, I hadn't seen it. So she had called the office the other day, I think it was last Friday.
Yeah, it was only last week that.
Yeah, and, it was, I think last Thursday maybe, and I called her right away when Bill had sent me the email saying that he's getting in contact with her. And when I explained the rates to her, she sounded very upset about it.
Do they need the pavilion? It seems like.
They don't need the pavilion. It was just to kind of,
Amount of money for.
it was just as, so it wasn't the $5 per person.
For what they're trying to do.
It seems like a reasonable one.
Well, it is, but when I'm saying that they don't need the pavilion,
Well,
it's
the-
not necessary, if it's just a little
So it's
they can
five-
set up a tent.
It would be $225 if they brought 4 dead people to the cove, day passes. So it would actually be cutting them about $100.
Right, so, but I think the point here is that we're sorry that this didn't get taken care of in a more timely manner. There's nothing we can do to change that, we can't go back in time. Lesson learned about spam emails, I guess.
Yes, I hate the quarantine.
And, but we cannot get this approved by the Board of Selectmen in time for this date. So if they would like to change the date, Brian, do you have anything you wanted to say, or no? Okay. Matt?
What do they hope to use the pavilion for?
Probably just a training. I've worked VBS before at my church, and
It's after.
No, it's the end of.
oh, it's the end,
yes.
so like a rewarding award.
They do
like
have
a-
teams.
Would they be able to use the picnic area for free instead? Would they be able to?
Absolutely, if they want to
Set
pay
up
the
a tent.
$5, and how would we handle?
Or, you know, even just use the dock here, you know,
Porch.
the porch, you know? That's just giving them an alternative where, you know, I mean, I don't know if you have a fee schedule set up just to use the porch or whatever, but that might be an alternate route.
Do you know if they're planning on having food or any of that? Do you not know, or do you?
No, their plan is they want to rent the pavilion to get the break of the $5 per person.
Oh, okay.
But that's
Cabin boat.
not.
They want to just use the cove.
But the pavilion rental, I don't believe it. I think if you rent here a cabin overnight, you do use, you get access to the cove with your rental. Is that the case with the pavilion, renting the pavilion for 4 hours?
No, not with the previous churches, no.
I'm sorry?
Not with the previous churches, no.
Okay.
They
Policy
get
is overnight
passes.
rentals.
They get the passes at $5 per person
No, they get passes for the rental.
with the rental?
Passes, yeah.
Okay, so they rent the
And cabins
pavilion.
as well.
Right, they rent the pavilion, or they rent cabins at a regular rate
Mhm.
with no reduction in the fee. And then you have access to
Passes, yeah.
the cove. If they would like to do that, if they would still like to rent it and just pay the rental fee, then they can have their event and then they can have access to the cove. But we can't change the reduction in the fee, but there's no time to do it by the 18th.
I didn't realize they just wanted to use the cove. I mean, but it comes
It's
out.
literally-
So it's either gonna be that they can
Yeah.
utilize the regular rental, or if they don't wanna go that route, they'll just.
Have to pay the $5 per person. Because when you're bringing 50 extra people, 45 to 50 extra people, that's a concern. That we would have to put extra lifeguards on for that. Right?
What's the capacity of the pavilion?
I'm not entirely sure. I want to say 50.
I think it's 50 to 75, but I can double check, 'cause I don't know specifically, so.
What's the rate that they have to rent out at?
$250 for 4 hours.
254. What are we getting for the other two cabins up there?
Which two cabins?
The
The
chalets?
chalets, what are we charging for those?
For overnight, I think it's,
In front of me.
60,
What about-
is it 60 or 80? We should have, I don't have a printout of all the
I don't have it with
prices
me right
for
now.
them either.
Why is
I
that?
can probably pull it out of my desk if you want me to go look for it.
Well, I'm just curious, money-wise, if they're looking, I'm not saying kind of, like, would it be cheaper for them to occupy the chalets than what it would be the pavilion? Again, I don't know. Can you get 2 chalets for cheaper than you can get a pavilion?
Yeah, but they
I
can't
don't
get
know.
all the people.
One of those chalets are full of,
The chalets are full of beds.
and one of them does have, has
one of them you
a
can't
door.
use.
Well, yeah, the
It's not
chalet
available.
2's, the
Hold on.
back's wide open, and it's full of it's essentially the bunk graveyard. Chalet 1 is usable, but there's a good amount of bunks in there.
Right. Okay, so the chalets are not usable. That's a great idea. And it's good to bring up the fact that they're not usable. So, okay, Emma?
They're also not planning on utilizing the facility, like the pavilion space, they're only planning on utilizing the cove. The reasoning they wanted to do the pavilion was for a price break, but the guards come out of my budget. I don't see money from the pavilion rental.
Right.
So it's actually operating a loss for the cove whenever these events happen, which is.
Which is a consideration.
It is.
Do they need to have a place to meet at? Is that what it is?
No, they wanted to just do the cove.
Okay, so then tell them it's $5 a piece for the cove.
I also don't know if it's actually in our policies and procedures to give everyone the day pass. I know last year Josh had made us, Lon and I, so we kind of did it as the revolving ones. I think it needs to be for the listening too, just because again, that lifeguarding cost does get to be, I mean, for a 2-hour event, yes, it's only $30, but
But we also
Other
want
church
it to
events are
be, we don't
7
want it to be a
hours.
practice though.
Yes,
Because then it
exactly.
becomes, you know, a way to save money. I understand it's a nonprofit. They probably
Yes.
don't have a whole lot. It's $125 is a lot of money to do something for a little bit.
yeah.
For their volunteers, so that definitely has to be a consideration moving forward, but it can't be a common practice. So I think setting the precedent, like I wish, you know, we had the time, because then that would be something that Board of Selectmen can make on our behalf, but now we're gonna be in a sticky situation, because if we say, you know, if we go ahead and do this, then, you know, our policies and procedures, you know, so we really, this time around, just to say, we definitely want to work with you, can we put this forth in front of the Board of Selectmen anyway, so that moving forward, at least for St. Joe's, knowing that they have a VBS every single year, they have all these volunteers.
They haven't used our space in 3 years.
Okay, but let's go ahead and reach
Yeah,
out to them and say, we want you here,
Yes.
and we apologize, we definitely, you know, would love to accommodate you, but these policies and procedures that are put in place are just, we're unable to. Our hands are tied.
Okay.
You know.
Joan?
My suggestion is offer them the $5 a piece for the cove, since that's what they want.
Yes.
And then tell them that because we have to put in extra lifeguards, we're gonna have to ask them for an additional $30 to compensate for that. So that covers everything, and that doesn't put it off to anybody else. They don't need the pavilion to begin with, they're only doing the pavilion to get a free
Just to get a
pass
discount.
Right.
Yeah.
there. So, I mean, they're still making up the same way.
The day pass cost would cover, if they pay the day pass rates, I'm not worried about paying the lifeguards. because
Okay.
it's $100
The
day
day
pass.
pass covers
The thing
that.
is, when we rent the pavilion and give out, like, the Bible Baptist that was here last weekend, it was 200 people at the Cove that I had to put extra lifeguards on, and the Cove doesn't get money from them
But did they pay Bible Baptist?
for the pavilion.
They pay for the pavilion.
They,
Yes.
the pavilion, but it
that-
came out of
yes.
the cove.
Money,
With
yeah.
the cove
Yes.
itself lost money because they're two separate budgets.
Yes.
Right, so that's kind of,
Concerning.
yeah, that is concerning.
Did anybody utilize though any of the kayaks or canoes?
No.
Oh, well, yeah. I was gonna say, if they rent it out though, was it $10 for an hour or?
Well,
Yes.
this is what I discussed a little bit today with Mary, in that it is gonna take us a while to have a policy and a procedure for every possible scenario that is going to come our way. So we do need,
But this is a big
This
one.
is a big one. It
This
happens
is a big one,
every
let's do
year.
this one, because all these churches do wonderful work here, and these are.
and I don't wanna, I wanna
Right.
cultivate a
We do.
relationship, not adversarial. You know, we wanna,
Yeah.
we don't wanna be confrontational.
But it has to make sense for.
But we can't
Yeah.
operate at a loss either.
Yeah.
Brian,
With them is concerned, I believe we talked about a long time ago, and I would probably talk to Todd. From what I understood with our budgets, whether it be up here or down there, that money was supposed to be able to be transparent. So if somebody's renting up here and they're using the cove, I'm almost positive that the money for that rental
can we transfer?
can be transferred over. Well, I think this came up a few years back and Todd answered it, that a lot of the lines are transparent.
So can we?
They're transparent?
Well, they can move, sorry.
Transferable.
Transferable.
Okay, so we can.
Yeah, but if the Cove loses money, we subsidize it anyway, so what is the difference? It's
Yeah.
all under the enterprise fund.
That
We
is,
can do the.
that is true, but
house,
given, so that, Brian, so that is true, but given the current climate of budget concerns with this camp as a whole and in the town, we really don't want to give the impression that the Cove is losing money, if indeed it isn't, and these things continue to happen. I know it doesn't sound like much right now, for $30 here, $50 there, whatever it takes, but we want to make sure that, you know, we're accurate in how much everybody's making or not making. Emma?
That, and I know a question at the end of the summer, every year is have you broken even, which,
It is, and we ourselves have asked it.
yes.
Yes, Matt?
I would just recommend, you know, I wouldn't get, I wouldn't really be caught in the weeds about trying to give them a good rate or whatever. I think it just should be, here it is. You're using the code, you have to pay the code fees. Because I'm afraid what's gonna happen here, if we set up the precedent of, oh, St. Joe's can do it,
So what
why
about
can't the
this one,
YMCA,
this
why
one,
can't
this
the?
one? Right.
And I think we, now that we know that's the real reason why they wanna use the pavilion, we really need to be,
And it's the real reason the other people wanted to use a rental as well.
Well, no, they do use the pavilion, they have lunch up there and everything, they use that space a lot, but they do their, it's like your church, they have the lunch up here, and then they do the baptism and everything, and other
Right.
families hang out down there with the younger kids afterwards, and they come back and forth, but this group wants to like set up camp at the Cove.
We're
Okay.
trying to save money.
So, and everybody is trying to save money, but we have to let people understand that we are also in a,
But I think maybe we need to put that on, we need to really consider a policy, because we're a business, but we're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're talking about calling in the community, that's kind of community 101. So I'm kind of not comfortable with just saying to the church, well, these are our rates, and we know that you are, you know, you're limited in your funds, and not to be flexible. I don't really think that's the language we want to use, but I mean.
well, that's what, I think that's what you guys have to do for right at the moment, until you guys have a solid plan moving forward.
Yeah, so can we just put that on the agenda as a consideration for next year, and then this just, you know,
for this year, it
This
is
is-
going to have to be that if they want to use the Cove as a group, every person does have to pay the $5 per day to cover the cost of lifeguards.
You have a nonprofit asking a nonprofit for a discount.
And I'm hoping, right, and I'm hoping, a lot of people don't see us as a nonprofit because they don't understand that our budget is separate from the town's. So that's just, you know,
but maybe it's worth a discussion though, Brian, we should.
People being
We need to get it out there. I mean, we're not
Right.
making money off these. We just want to cover expenses. It's-
right, exactly, we're not trying to make money, but we are trying to make the camp self-sustaining. So I think in the interest of moving the meeting along, can we, I don't even think it needs a vote, does it? Because we can't take it to town meeting, we can't take it to a selectmen's meeting. So, that being said, they're going to have to do the $5 per person, you'll have to send it with our apologies, and that hopefully in the future we'll have.
Can we offer the free areas though, like Matt suggested, if they wanted
Yeah,
to
you
use?
give them a
Like the
meeting
porch
area,
or something,
yeah.
or? you know what I mean?
From the conversation that I had with her, but like, they didn't even mention the pavilion to me, they just wanted to use the Cove, that's what they
Right.
wanted.
If they,
Okay.
right, their main goal is to be at the beach. They don't want to come here and have a picnic lunch or anything else.
Would it be sort of like a token of, just like
Goodwill.
friendship, goodwill,
To
to
offer it
say,
to them.
to say, okay, we understand that, you have a certain budget, but maybe we can add in like free use of the kayaks? Would that be?
No.
That would have to be approved by.
That would also have to be
Also
approved by the board of
because it's
selectmen.
separate. Yeah.
So again, in the interest of moving the meeting along, the rule of thumb right now is $5 a day per person. We will put this in our policies and procedures discussion for whenever policies and
The next
procedures
year's.
come in, next year's policies and
November.
procedures. Okay? Thank you. Okay, yoga, is there something?
Yeah, briefly, Deb had mentioned with, one of her people that comes to the yoga classes, they wanted to see about putting out a free yoga class for teachers, since it's in the off season. I told her that I would bring it up to you guys, because they're looking to offer it for free, so I don't know if with that, if they want to be able to use the space for free, or even if they do that, are we still charging her for use of the space, to put on a free class?
Okay, well, again, we would have to go through the Board of Selectmen for approval for that. When is she looking to do it?
They didn't have a set.
Okay, so is this something we want to do, give Deb the place for free one time to offer a free yoga class to teachers? Is there any discussion on this?
Well, if she's offering for free, what's 20% of free?
Nothing.
Correct.
Your point being, please come out and
You wouldn't be
say
charging anyways, because she's not charging anyone, where we charge 80/20 based on her turnout. If her turnout, she's not charging anyone for turnout, and this is where we run into the sticky wicket of, we should be getting an hourly rate for our caretakers
Right,
in lieu of, which we kind of gave her the pass on.
because we have the contract with her.
Correct. And we agreed to say, okay, we won't charge you for caretakers, but if she wants to throw in something free, I believe there should be a charge in there.
Any further discussion?
It's hard to do the free.
So would it be, so whatever, oh, because she pays 80/20, so,
She pays 80/20, so her 20% covers the caretakers.
right, okay.
And we would still need caretakers.
We would still need
Yeah, so
caretakers
it would
here,
cost us.
unless she's doing it at a time when the two of you are already here.
So that would be the either, depending on when she does it, she'd either at least have to pay for the caretakers, or has to do it when
When,
somebody's already here.
right,
Okay,
if she's here during the day.
okay.
So if she can get back to us with a date and a time, is that something that people would be amenable to? If she was here and we weren't spending any money on a caretaker, and she was running the class when Bill or Lon were here during their normal working hours, would we want to let her have a free class?
I'm fine with it.
You're fine?
It's fine,
Anybody else?
as long as it's not gonna cost us
Yes.
anything.
One rationale is, I mean, if Deb's trying to increase her base as a company, which I
Right.
think she is, giving a free
It helps
sample is gonna help you guys out in
Exactly.
the long end.
Well, that was
It's
my
just kind of
feeling
like the
on it.
Kelly wedding
I think
kind of
it's,
situation.
I think it's very proactive of her to do that. And
She does a lot here. so
And she does a lot,
Yeah.
exactly, so,
It's not like, she just comes here once.
right, and I think you and I should go. As teachers. Okay, so, all right, so would someone reach out to her with that
Yeah.
information?
Yeah, I'll chat with her.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Recreation Commission teams. We're calling them teams, not subcommittees. And does any team have any updates or anything they want to discuss at this time? I'm sorry?
I passed out,
Brian Smith and Brian Gabay.
I passed out a recycle bin configuration. This is what I use in my line of work. I've looked at the dumpster, 2 cubic yard dumpster, the recycle. Every time I look at it, it's essentially empty. So there's nothing being thrown in there. You're spending $3,800. I had proposed getting a 6 yard, emptying it every month to save $3,000, but I'm thinking just pull the thing and get a couple of these barrels and put them in strategic spots. It could be in the kitchen, it could be down at the cove. You're talking about maybe $300, and you bag things up and you take them to the transfer station. You don't have to pay Republic to empty containers.
Whose responsibility would it be to take them to the transfer station?
It could be one of the caretakers.
You'd have to get the orange bags.
Yeah, not orange bags, no, you wouldn't need orange bags.
No, you wouldn't need orange bags for
That's
recycling.
I mean, it could be done for the amount, what you're recycling, you could do it once a month, and you'd be lucky if you have a bag full. But, you know, there's things you can do here, you're spending $4,000 to essentially for nothing. And you're not recycling because you're not, and people, what they're doing is they see the recycle dumpster there, they go to the nearest spot and mix, they throw
Everything in
food.
anyway.
You're just wasting time and money.
Okay, so I think at our last meeting, didn't we vote to change the size of the dumpster and
Yeah,
then the
to a
pickup
bigger
schedule?
one, a bigger one, but once a month. But if it's in between the 10-yard and the lodge, that's the quickest hit for any caterer to come in here, is to throw things in there. And they're gonna mix cake boxes, anything with food is not recyclable.
Right,
So what you're looking for is essentially bottles. You don't have a lot of cardboard, you're not in the house.
right.
So anything that you're throwing in the trash now is not of any magnitude. You're throwing wood there, you're throwing some cardboard, you're throwing food. With this, it's pretty much, you can get it configured where it's just got a hole in the middle, you throw bottles in it.
Has the new schedule for pickup and the new dumpster been,
No, it hasn't.
when is that going to take place?
I wanted to bring this forth before I called in on that.
Okay. Emma?
I just have a question about that because our recycling is overflowing at least every other day.
What
So we
size
recycle
do
a
you-
lot. We use the blue
blue barrels.
barrels that we have all around
And
the
where are
world
you throwing those?
in this recycling bin.
Because I haven't seen it once. I've been here 3 times, I haven't seen one bottle in there.
Well, Republic was here, I think either Thursday or Friday,
Yeah.
and they did do a pickup.
I mean, I think you're crazy to give them this kind of money. I mean,
Well, the issue is gonna be too is, the caretakers bring it, I mean, I think only one of them has a truck, are we gonna pay them to use their truck to bring all the stuff to the dump and everything?
I get paid by the Board of Health to do the water samples and they have to reimburse me per mile that I drive. It's like 59 cents a mile. Like there and back.
There is a place.
Cheaper than
in,
3,500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you're spending $4,000, if you
Yeah.
spend $500 to have a caretaker go to the transfer station
That's a
for
cost.
the pickup. I'm just putting it out there.
Do they get
Okay, any further discussion? Matt?
One comment is exactly what Billy was saying, if you only have one caretaker, but how are you gonna get that trash to the dump? Are you gonna put it in
That was
your
the
back of
first
your
question
car?
I asked.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean, and if you have a caretaker that has a truck, that's all voluntarily, you know, they weren't hired based on the use of having a truck.
Their vehicle, right?
Yeah,
But it's not trash just thrown away, it's recyclables.
It's still somebody else's material that is in your car. So if you'd like to volunteer, you guys.
I don't care,
So-
I take a couple bags of it.
But I mean, I would too, I go to the dump all the time, it doesn't bother me.
I don't have a sticker for the dump, so.
I mean, we can go back to the other way, we put a sit-down out there, but you gotta move it away from the trash, because they're just gonna head into that and mix it anyway, you're not recycling anything. You're
I
mixing.
agree. Would there be any, would we have to get a sticker as well?
I don't think you would have to get a sticker. Well, it depends if the truck has a sticker.
He's
Right.
not from.
He's not from this town.
If it's not-
Right, and that's not gonna fly with the Board of Health.
Right, so we would have to get him a sticker and reimburse him for that sticker, which is $30. It's not a big deal, I think it's
That's what he
30 or
is.
35.
He's not a resident. They require registration to get a sticker.
I understand that, but if he's doing it in the employment of the camp, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, that'd be a very, I think that would be a very sticky conversation to have, but, you know, I'm just saying.
I'm not saying it's impossible, it might be a sticky conversation, but it's at least a conversation worth asking how something like that would go. Jen?
I just had an idea, I mentioned it about another issue of metal bed frames. This is town-owned property and how to get rid of those metal bed frames. I discussed with Billy, I discussed it with someone else in this room, saying that why not take a town-used, town-owned property, like truck, like someone from the highway department, have them come and take the recyclables to the dump.
I feel like
Because those trucks have stickers on them, don't they?
Sure, but now
they're
you're
very
asking,
busy.
but,
Dave's
but,
asking.
one, highway,
That's not gonna
I mean, it's just an
Yeah, no, I
idea.
one highway is underemployed, but now
Right.
two, now you're getting into a huge union contract issue, where
Right.
you're now saying that the trash people on top of everything
Highway
else.
department,
Yeah.
right, no, there's a lot of
Yeah,
little,
it's just-
there's a lot of little variables and pieces to it. So,
You could stick with the 6-yard, but I suggest keeping it further away, because the 10-yard is closer to the kitchen. Otherwise, put it on the other side of the 10-yard.
But between, there's 2 trees where the art building is, I would move it.
the
behind
recycling
the
one
dumpster.
over there,
Yeah.
So that way, if you're gonna use it, you're going a long way around.
and have it picked up
Yes, once a month.
once a month.
And if it gets to be, it's in the summer, if it's, you find that it's overwhelmed.
Is that a cost savings for us to do
Oh,
this?
yeah, I mean, you
Okay.
still can save $3,000 doing that, but I suggest you move it from where it is now and leave the 10-yard as the closest one to your kitchen.
Okay, who would be responsible for moving it? Who would be able to move it?
Republic.
So we can ask Republic
Yeah.
to move the recycling bin.
It's gonna be bigger, it's gonna be, I mean, you can make it a 4-yard if you want, if you don't want anything that's triple the size as what you got, you can make it a 4-yard.
What do we have now?
You have a 2.
Okay.
And that's being picked up weekly right now?
Yeah.
But if we make a 4-yarder and we have it picked up monthly, is what he's saying, it's going to save us how much?
Well, $3,000.
$3,000 a year. And that's significant.
Who's communicating with them? Who's, physically is going to pick up the phone and say, please move the, who does
I
that?
can call them, and they just contact Bill when they get here, and he
Yeah.
directs them.
So is that a plan? That sounds like a plan. So do we go for it?
Well, if the 4-yard if we go to a monthly with that and it's getting backed up, can we then switch if we need to go to the 6?
We can go to the 6, or you can increase the frequency of the
Of
Of the
the 4?
pickup.
4.
Okay,
I mean, and granted, you can play with the frequency, so when you get in the winter period, you can go, oh, wait a minute, I don't
we
know.
only need it every 2 months, yeah.
Every 2 weeks, once a month in the winter during the dead time.
Yeah.
There's different things you can do.
Okay.
Okay, so would we, I'm sorry?
I would go with the 6, planted in that.
Well, if we can manipulate the frequency, but why?
Well, the more times they come pick up, the more they're gonna charge you.
Yeah.
So every pickup, if you call them,
If you
And
place it in
a
the
pickup
right,
is more costly than a size increase.
if you place it in the right area, it shouldn't fill up as much, because they won't have the incentive to just throw the trash in the nearest bin. It will be on the other side of the trash
For recycling.
for recycling or yes. But if you leave it where it is, regardless of the size, you're gonna it's just a natural instinct for people to go to the closest dumpster they see.
Right.
And that's gonna be, so whatever you decide, 4 or 6, I mean, we go with a 4, see how it turns out, we always can upsize it.
Okay, any further discussion? Emma?
I know a lot of the caterers don't actually know about the other dumpster because it's hidden behind the fence. Could we change the configuration of that so we actually, it's visible, or like put a sign on that fence that says that that's where the dumpster is, rather than,
They know where it is.
It says trash right on the fence, so that
They
means
know.
they open it. So
It's the
they put
easiest
the other
one.
dumpster, they're talking about putting the recycling behind it.
no, I know that.
So,
Yeah.
that should cut down on.
Have caterers commented on any of this, that they cannot find the recycling or anything else that you've heard?
No.
Okay, so then this becomes a matter of saving some money.
Yes.
Okay,
But we can adjust as needed if we.
and we can adjust. So would somebody like to make a motion then to
I'd like to make a motion to go with a 4-yarder.
Recycling.
Recycling on a monthly basis,
monthly pickup?
monthly pickup, pending rent commission,
And moved.
and moved, under Bill Boyle's direction.
second.
All those in favor?
Can I also ask Brian, can we make note of, to see if there's an improvement? Can we do that? Is there
Yeah, I
a
mean,
Monitor the progress?
Can we do that? It would be, I think, important to monitor.
Sure. I think a lot of it's gonna be feedback from the caretakers, because they're here mostly for those events, and, they'll be our, eyes and ears on the ground,
Okay,
So that would be important to have that feedback. That's good to save money, and if it does work, then,
Yeah.
wonderful.
So,
And I know there was a comment, it's possible that waiting longer, we might get critters. The one thing we have to be, whereas if we get critters, we might have to go back to,
Right.
but,
Oh, no.
I mean,
I
we'll
think
cross
we
that
have enough
bridge
critters in
when we
Hanson.
get
I
there.
don't
Let's
have
try to
any
save,
more critters.
let's
I
go
think we
with the big
should
one.
attempt to
Yeah.
save this money. It's a significant amount of money.
Oh, yeah.
Let's try this.
And I think we
Let's do
should try to do that.
So can we check back, what it was today, so July, can we check back, what would be a reasonable time to see the switch?
Couple of weeks, and I'll just take a look every week.
So by the 1st of August?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes?
That's what it was.
Okay. Thank you, Brian, for doing the legwork on that.
Also, wanted the same thing, the north end carpenter, we're gonna try to get in here
Beginning of next week.
beginning next week.
Okay?
Roof leak, Brian, I believe, emailed Bill
Yeah,
to coordinate.
coordinate the roof leak with the 2 members.
Coming tomorrow,
Okay.
Nice. Who's coming? Which one of those guys?
Mr. Carter.
Carter?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, kind
I did want to say something about since you and I are technically on the code team, and
I thought I was ice cream social person.
Okay. I did get approached, and I said this, I had a discussion with some concern about the trees, like, because they've got, I counted 47 marked trees on the drive up that they're gonna chop down.
There's trees down here.
Oh, okay. I'll just wait then. But part of it does go toward the cabin that's with the bow
Yeah.
floor. Okay, any other
of.
commission chiefs? I'm sorry?
We want time.
Back to facilities, sorry, I apologize, go ahead.
Where are we with cabins and bunks? Because we're just in neutral here.
Well, we have a lodge day tomorrow with a lot of the caretakers, so we're gonna be going through the north cabins. I went through them today. Within the next month or two, we actually have people that are utilizing the north end. So we're not gonna be able to move as much as we want, just because we're gonna need bunks over there. Part of the issue is that there's quite a few bunks that have no mattresses. So we're gonna have to play around with the configurations anyway, and that's part of what we're gonna look at tomorrow is some of them are, anything that looks like it's a death trap, yeah, we'll pull it out of there. But we are gonna have to leave a lot of them because the spaces are gonna be utilized. I think with what's over, we might be able to make it work and not have to kind of shimmy things back and forth. But we're not gonna be able to pull everything out and stash it in the chalet until after the season, probably just because
What
we've got
about,
people.
what about the south end and just getting an even amount within just that area and taking the bunks out of that cabin that has the bad floor? Just putting 6 in every one that is usable. Can we do that?
We could probably do that. I just don't know if there's an issue in terms of with the rental agreements, if there's a cabin that, isn't stocked. So I think the one thing is if we're gonna have it deemed that people can't go in it, we'll probably have to have the building inspector come down and just say, yeah, no, people can't go in there.
Okay. I spoke to Mary about this, no, we don't need the building inspector down, we deemed it unsafe.
So we can just
The
say,
one with the boat floor.
so that's, I think it's cabin, south side, cabin like
Cabin
12, okay.
There are 4 beds in it.
Yeah, that's all.
So those 4 beds can be removed and brought
Just getting,
either to another cabin in the south end that requires more, or to the north end, wherever you guys see fit. I have a question about the north end rental. Is it a party, one party, or is it individual renters,
So
or?
a wedding.
It's a wedding and they want the north end?
Two weddings in the north end and south end, and there's sisters that are renting the north end as well.
Wow.
And then we have the church, but you guys aren't doing the cabins, but there's
Right.
still, there's rentals in there.
Okay.
But don't forget, you got always the beds in the chalets too.
yeah.
Well, we got the bunk, so we still have to look at, because I know Ed said that he can trim them down and make 2 beds out of them.
Right, but, you can move those to the north end, or if you need them.
If they
Yeah.
have cots, if they have mattresses.
Right, but I know we had, 47 mattresses at one time, I don't know how many cots we had.
We threw out some of the mattresses during the cleaning because they were just gone by, I know that much. I think we have some put up Yeah, I think we do need to inventory in the current.
So yeah, we'll take
Mattresses.
stock of that too to see, because we may have to, order some mattresses just so we can have.
Well, I think we're gonna not move toward mattresses anymore, right? You wanted to move toward cots?
Yeah, I mean, we really should get away from mattresses. Maybe go air mattresses before you go to straight mattresses again.
Air mattresses.
There's gotta be another solution than mattresses. I mean,
Well, we just need to look at
Talking like army cots, like,
something similar.
Camping cots.
Camping
We have
cots.
one of them in the, craft cabin too, if you wanna take a look at it, they're like long, it's like a,
it's almost like a half
canvas type
cocoon
thing,
type.
yeah.
Right, and we need to look at a couple of different things. We need to look at, obviously, the cost effectiveness of it. We need to look at weight limits and, storage, all of that. And then determine the best decision. We need to, those wooden bed frames are fantastic and they're gonna be around for a long, long time.
yeah, the cots should replace the metal first.
Right, the cots should
Let's
only
just
replace the
utilize
metal,
the wood.
I think, for now, because the metal ones, some of them are a little dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
they are,
there's definitely some that do need
to go.
to go to the graveyard.
So, right now, I think what we need to do to get a handle on the situation is inventory how many acceptable, and I use the term loosely, metal bed frames we have with, and then how many cots we have. Mattresses we have. I apologize.
We were given last year,
Right.
a listing of every, well, at one time, it does have the evaluations and how many mattresses and everything else on it. I don't know,
Maybe we can give that to Bill,
it's fine.
something.
I can get a hold of another copy, but it also has the different mattresses of the cots too.
Okay, yeah,
Not
I was
in
trying
my
to kind of,
notations, but it tells you how many mattresses at that time that, I believe Maddie did that last
Yeah.
year. didn't you? And that's what she did. And
Right.
if you go to the other pages, it has how many mattresses are in each cabin, how many cots are in each cabin. That was last year's evaluation.
So I think,
so I think it might
I
have
think you
changed
and the
this year.
caretakers are the better, I think the caretakers are the better people to, and I think you guys can just do it as you go and whenever you have the time. Does that make sense?
It just gives you him an update,
Just
and it
whenever
makes it a
you
little
have
bit easier that you can verify what changes have to be made, what you need mattresses for.
With the south end, you need approximately 13 cots. If you take the 4 out of number 12, I believe there's either 6 or 8 up in one of those chalets. That's gonna put you right at the 12, and you shouldn't really have to touch anything on about that. That'll give you 6 per cabin. Not to beat a dead horse to death, but this was discussed well over 2 months ago. I don't know who's gonna be assigned this task. We had two wedding rentals with Southeast Rentals. According to, from what I understand, we're supposed to have 6 cots per cabin. Brian had come up with something a few months ago where he wanted to say, we can do 4, we were told we couldn't, it had to go with the board of selectmen and change all the policies. So, I guess my question is, we're renting things out, but we're not following by the rental agreement as was told to us when we tried to change things.
Okay, so basically the rental agreements always have to be followed, we know this. However many cots or beds need to be in a cabin, you guys can look at the agreements and figure that out with the cabins. And I'm sure that within the next couple of weeks, it'll be.
yeah, part of it's starting tomorrow, because we've
Right.
got
So
quite
can
the
you-
crew on.
So we'll have an update at our next meeting about this?
Yep.
Okay, and just so you know, to be open and honest, I sent the email that Brian sent to me, I sent it to you, and to Colin, and to you, and to Bill, and I didn't have anybody else's email about that. Just so, how many cots need to be in each one? Yes, Jen?
Maddie and I are working together along with Colin and a bunch of the new caretakers tomorrow for a few hours, and that is our plan, is to make sure that most of the wooden cots are down there and they have mattresses on there. And some of them have, not all the cabins are the same size. Like for instance, cabin 1, that can only hold 2.
Right,
There are some that can only hold 4, there are some that can hold 6.
right.
So,
But I mean, that's all in agreement, Lon knows, and,
Right.
well, you guys know.
we'll be working on it tomorrow.
Right, and you guys, I know you can handle it, so I'm not gonna micromanage it. We just want an update,
It will be.
you know, whenever, at the next meeting.
Well, and we have, I was gonna wait till old business with caretaker reports. So if
Okay.
you wanna, when we get to that, I'll handle it.
Okay.
I
Yes,
also
John.
have another suggestion, cabin 1, the door is now almost off, I mean, it's.
It was recently damaged this
That's
weekend.
But it's hanging, when we came up the other day, it was there and you couldn't open it. Today, it's this far apart. in
The morning
hinged
caretaker are
area.
aware of it, yeah.
So
They
it should be
are.
fixed.
There.
I mean,
They have,
that-
they have a door on the side that they're gonna put on it.
Oh, that's good.
Because
Someone
of-
apparently kicked it in over the weekend and
We
broke
had
the bottom
breakfast
hinge
until
off.
11 and they only worked till 11, so they're on it. They didn't want to interrupt, there was a wedding Sunday.
Oh, listen, it happens. I mean, there's no way to, you can't be here 24/7 and babysit everybody. It's just, you can't do it. People can be obnoxious. There's nothing we can do. I did notice though, when we did the walkthrough on the cabin doors that have the wooden slats with the Z's that they make, those are really good, so I hope that's what they'll replace it with. Anyway, anything else on this? That's it? Okay, thank you.
Websites.
John, are you speaking for John on
Yeah,
websites and
but
Melissa?
I mean, this,
Did you have anything?
for John,
Okay, so you're speaking for John?
and I'm speaking for me because I'm on websites too.
Okay, go ahead.
Even though I don't have no control over the websites, but that's okay. Find out something real quick. All right, he says that to finalize the wedding show details for November 10th and hoping to finish the website migration for earlier next week. So those are kind of two things, guys, I guess.
Okay, so that's the
Migrating
wedding.
over, so it should be, hopefully the GoDaddy will be updated for next week,
Okay,
which is the .com page.
yes. So while I was on vacation, we used my credit card to get the GoDaddy in order.
Okay.
So, Lon, whatever I have to fill out for reimbursement, just let me
So
know.
when you get your invoice,
Yep.
your statement.
Mhm. Yeah, I just got it in the mail.
Okay.
I'll bring it down this
Bring
way.
it to me, we'll do the reimbursement.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Also with the website, I had sent an email out to Emma, Bill, you were included, and I think Lon. And had to deal with advertising the things that go on here at camp. Specifically the Cove Swim. I asked nicely if somebody could maybe educate people out there. It could be, because you kind of get in bits and pieces. When you look on cranberrycove.com, you get in like multiple questions. So nothing is set up. So like,
You're
swim
talking about
lesson dates.
cranberrycove.com versus the Cranberry Cove.
This is Facebook. This is Facebook, which
Okay.
is the website.
So you're talking about the Cranberry Cove Facebook page?
Yeah, which can also go on the .com website, because the .com encompasses the entire camp. And I asked if someone could please,
I don't have access to the .com, if you want.
right, but you have Cranberry Cove.
Yes,
Yeah. So just let me,
yeah,
no, because again, I'm gonna take the cues from you because you're
Yeah.
down there, so.
yeah.
The point being is, I would like to see if we could, or you guys could, because again, I don't have control over any of it. If the swim lesson dates can be posted, swim lesson hours, swim lesson session times, what's taught of each lesson, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, what those encompass, because,
It's not split up by beginner, intermediate, advanced, it would be a paragraph, it would be 6 paragraphs per, like, just for the lessons. The times are already all on Facebook, everything, all that's on Facebook.
is there a way to bullet
I
point it?
can see that.
Because if you go on to like the YMCA, they have swim lessons and they tell you what encompasses this particular class. I mean, I'm sure you must have 1, 2, 3 here.
Any question that, like, anytime anyone asks me a question, I just forward them the
Red
PDF
Cross.
of the Red Cross, this is what this lesson is, this is what this lesson is, this is what
Well,
this lesson
can we
is.
put a link, okay, you're at beginner level 1, link, you can see it. And if you choose to open the link,
It's just a-
it's there on the
Yeah.
Let's put a link to the PDF then.
I mean, you don't have to list it in every one, but a link.
Yeah, it would just be a very big post and people don't read it when you, because I have questions every single day of, they ask me something, if they read the next line down of what they read, it would have been answered by reading the post.
Okay, so I think then maybe what you're talking about, you don't want individual lesson plans on there for well, lesson 1 will include, lesson 2 will include. You just want a brief synopsis of what's taught in each level.
So that's what I was saying, we give about a paragraph per level.
Well, how many
For just-
levels are there?
6.
So there'd be 6
Actually,
paragraphs.
8 because the 2 preschools.
Fine, if there are 8 paragraphs, that's in the PDF, let's
Yes.
just click a link to the PDF and be done.
So if you have that, send it to me, and I'll put it on the website.
Okay, well, lessons have already started, most of our
Doesn't
lessons are
matter, just
actually.
put it on
Yeah, we'll just have it, so yeah,
Just
anybody
put it on
clicks.
there for next year even.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'll get with you so that I
Yeah.
know what the swim lesson hours are,
Yes.
and I'll put it on the Cranberry
Yes.
Cove article.
Anything else?
Yeah, if I can finish.
Okay, go ahead.
I also suggested that a disclaimer be put up on the page, that these pages, it could be the .com, well, actually it can't be the .com because no one proposed anyways. Could be the Town Hanson Camp Kiwanee, could be the Cove page. I would like to see a disclaimer, because the Cove page used to have, not the Cove page, the Camp Kiwanee page used to have a disclaimer that was a basic disclaimer saying that these websites for informational purposes only, that negative remarks can and will be taken down, so that it would go back and forth like you see on, some of the other Hanson pages. And because I've already seen a few derogatory things that should have already been taken down by certain people, which I can name names after, but I won't now.
No, we're not gonna need names.
I have taken down quite a few posts.
Right, so it'll drive you crazy.
Yes.
But if you can just put a disclaimer up that way, if people aren't also going to the other pages saying, they kicked me, why did they kick me? Well, we know why you were kicked.
So you want a disclaimer so that people will understand, should they post negative comments, that they will be taken down.
Right, and it's more for informational things with people.
No conspiracy theories, please, it's information only.
Yes.
So one thing that we need to be really careful about as the town of Hanson, including the commission, is if you delete stuff off of your page,
Yes.
you're hypothetically deleting a public document. And then now you're erasing public records and stuff like that. So one thing that I would recommend to the board is, because this is all new,
Right, it's uncharted territory
Right.
in the legislature as well.
Right,
Yes.
so what I would highly recommend is before deleting it, make sure you grab a screenshot of it and you save it somewhere.
You can still see it as an admin when it's removed, it just isn't posted to the public.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's, you mean,
Do you
just,
have access
they
to
want
it the entire
delete
time?
these
or
things.
is it
So
not-
admin always has a picture of it. Okay,
yeah.
okay. So is that a reasonable request then?
Yeah, and it keeps it nice and simple too, because then you have people who are gonna argue for days, but if you say, policy, right?
Right.
And case
Okay.
closed, and they can keep going, but we've just closed it enough already.
Perfect. So we'll get it, do you have a disclaimer that, written up that you would like to see on there, Brian?
I don't, but I can definitely be, it's up to you guys.
I can, I'll reach out to Mary just to go over it with her, because it might be something too that we need to ask town council about language.
Right, language.
Just how to-
They might already
Thank you.
have one.
Yeah.
They might-
And they might, yeah, they
They
might.
can suggest one.
So, yeah, I'll.
Sounds
I'll-
good. Okay, anything else, Brian?
Good, you done?
Well, going onto the website, okay, if you go into the section that says contact, it has her number, the number for up here at the lodge, and it also has one for the Cove, and I don't think that's a usable number anymore.
I don't have access to the website, but yeah, no, Verizon has disappeared on me and.
She only has access to the Facebook page?
Yes.
I believe-
I don't have access to the
Well,
website,
probably
but
it
we
could
can
be-
fix that this week.
It could well be,
Yes.
but it's got the old number, the
Yes.
904 or 5042. I wrote you
Yeah.
a note off the Cranberry Cove page, so you should get that.
Okay.
And then that mentions about
We-
it, so.
I did put, just because I know there were a lot of questions about the Cove, so I did put the beach director, the cell phone number up there, just.
Yeah,
so that
I
way
saw
they had the
that
email.
too.
Yeah, so that one is, that one is the right number, but I think the 2042, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is,
That's the
yeah,
wrong
that
number.
was-
Just so you know, I did call that
This is
cell
the
phone,
number.
that cell phone number,
Excuse
That
me.
cell phone number works.
and it works great, and they answered right away, and they said, Cranberry Cove, how can I help you?
Right, the
So, it was fine.
4068 number is fine. And
Yeah.
then
Did we ever get with
But it's the other
Verizon?
one.
That was,
Verizon has not sent us a bill, we're not paying for them.
No, it is.
We're not
They-
paying for them.
We're not paying for them, they basically told me that they can't do anything to get the central offices down, and that would gladly restore service once the central office is up in January.
So for this year, we're not, as far as the Cove is concerned, we're not dealing with Verizon. However, I do think the cell phone is working fine down there, and that's actually a cost-saving alternative.
It is, except for the fire department's not very happy about it because the landline goes directly to Hanson, although they said that Hanson is pinging their own lines now, their own cell phones now, so,
But I would say that we look at it again next season,
Yes.
because this season's done.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at where we're at. So,
can you give me the information so I can help you with this? I have asked for it for 2 or 3 times.
What do you need?
The landline. I will call Verizon, I will harass them, even if it's for next year. I've asked you, I need
can I have
to
you
give
type
it
in
to-
your email to mine, because I've done it,
Please.
I
My
really,
emails work for 20 years.
I really have
Please
typed
give
it
it
in,
to
and I
Bill,
haven't,
give me a printed copy, anything.
Okay.
I will help you.
all right, let's do that.
Can you shoot
Okay.
the bill and then?
Shoot the bill and you can call me.
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay. All right, anything else with media, Cove, facilities?
Cove, the
That's-
lifeguard chair, did we ever get that fixed?
yes, because a step fell off of it.
Is that what it takes? Sorry.
However, he only fixed the step that fell off, so I've been telling the guards to not really use it unless there are people really far up they need to be able to see. But Ed said that he's getting the supports. I do think that it would be worth having to build a new one in the office.
True, but in the interim,
Yes.
that's a safety.
Yes.
That has to go to the top of it.
Because it has been so crowded down there. I went
It's
down
been
there
crazy.
the other day, and it was so packed. The lifeguards really did need to be
Yeah.
up in that
Yeah, you
thing.
get the materials.
Yeah.
He's getting the materials, and just, for the time being, that was all he could do. And
Okay,
it's been so crowded, even morning lessons, he can't really be down there pulling everything apart, and he pulls his truck on right next to the guard chair, there are kids right there,
okay.
so.
Dumpster lock, I've asked about this on a number of occasions. Where are we with the dumpster lock?
Ed is ordering a new lock that matches the rest of the Cove keys, so we have one, I guess we don't have any more in stock from what he
Where's he getting them from?
Ace, where we always get them.
Okay.
They have our,
Joan?
Oh, I forgot. How do we do July 4th?
it was really hot that day, we had so many day passes.
It was packed.
But we didn't really have any, like, regulars at all. We had like 2 families that were regulars.
Right, yeah, I went down.
Well, I figured you'd end up getting more day passes for that day
Yeah.
than you would anything else, so.
But even the guards that worked, who have worked in years past, were like, we've never seen it on the, it was just so hot that day.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, the guards did say that they had never seen it this
Yeah.
crowded before on a 4th of July. They
Yeah.
usually, he said, last year we weren't open, but the year before we were, and the year before that, and he worked there both years.
Yeah.
And he said, I've never seen it like this.
Do you have a count on how many passes we sold?
I do, but not with me, so they've been actually using my computer with, I'm gonna get to that, but the gatekeepers have been using my computer, so I just didn't have it with me, and the time that I had set aside to pull all those numbers out today, there was an emergency that I had to respond to, so.
Okay,
In and around, what's the number right now?
First, season passes, or she was asking day passes?
Just day for.
Yeah,
Day passes.
for season passes, it's 116.
160.
day passes is a ton
How many, I'm sorry?
116.
160.
for season passes.
So these numbers we're gonna have, because for the business plan, I noticed the business plan was a little business.
Okay,
We're gonna have those numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
all right, in the interest of moving on,
Mhm.
okay? Halloween extravaganza 2019, any updates on that?
Just more so, reached out to,
Food
The one-
trucks?
haven't reached back out to the food trucks. but I'll reach out to see if we have them available for that date.
That'd be great.
And if they are, we'll have them just start getting in there, food car and stuff now, just
Yeah,
so we're
we get-
ahead of the game.
Yeah, let's do that.
Do you remember any of the names of any food trucks? Because there's Mom on the Go that's supposed to be good.
Right.
So I've had a conversation with her, and she referred me to the South Shore Food Truck
This is,
Association.
we discussed all of this at the
Yeah.
last meeting, so Mom on the
So
Go,
yeah, I gotta
Biggies.
get back in touch with, I mean,
Right,
you call them and sometimes it's a week or
Well,
so
in
before
the
they get back to you.
right, in the summertime especially.
Yeah, yeah, she said they are flat out until, probably September. at least.
Right, so let's just see if we can get some, at least a 2 or 3 committed for the date, and you know the date, right?
I believe, is it the 20? It's on
It's on
Google, I
Google
think
now.
it's
So
either
you're
the
good.
27th or the 29th, right? yeah.
Okay, cornhole tournament.
So, I spoke with the guys at Wicked Good Cornhole again. We were looking at September 15th, it's a Sunday, they currently have that date open, as do we. We don't have anything that, the date we were looking at in August, there's a big event going on, so we wouldn't be able to piggyback those. They said they were here a few months ago, they did a tournament. and
Here
they-
at the camp?
Yeah, somebody had a party here.
Okay,
And so they were brought in
run that.
to run it. I believe he said they can set up 6 to 8 boards, which could accommodate between 30 to 40 teams. Their fee, it's $600 to come in, they set everything up, they set up the brackets for the tournament, they bring a PA system, and they can do trophies. He said if we want, it's $25 a trophy, so if we wanted to do trophies. I spoke to Justin over at Hanson Recreation Gun, they're open to, kind of working with us on that one. So I just gotta figure out a time to have breakfast with them to hash out more details
Working on us with what?
for the cornhole tournament.
They're
We're
sponsoring.
sponsoring,
So,
okay.
yeah, more so, they would kind of be the ones sponsoring it and running the show, so to speak.
Okay.
So he said he's open to that. He would be open to doing a silent auction item of a membership.
Wow,
Okay.
okay,
So,
all right.
yeah, I
Keep us
talked to him and he
updated.
said, come over, we do breakfast on Sundays at the club. So he said, come over, introduce yourself, we'll chat.
Okay.
So they're in with that. So yeah, I mean, if we wanna, if September 15th works, we can start putting everything in motion.
Let's do
I
it.
can work with them.
So it's $600 and then we.
They bring the boards, they bring the
Yeah.
boards.
They bring-
Well, no, right.
They're-
It's awesome.
I
Or we
really
charge
think,
per team or whatever.
I really think that for our first one, we should let somebody else run it and
So we can see.
get an
how it goes.
idea and see how it goes, see what the reaction in the, town is to it.
Yeah.
And see if it's something that maybe eventually we could do ourselves
Yeah.
without having to expend the
And
$600.
remember when Beth was here too, she had stated that it would be probably more helpful if we had a nonprofit sponsor, so the Rod and Gun Club would be, would be a great partner because it's kind of like up their alley as well. So another thing too is in terms of the prizes, it's great that they can do the auction as well, but we can't give out like prizes of any kind, no monetary value, but, through the Rod and Gun Club, that's something that they can actually do. They
I
can do
believe,
that.
Right.
And in terms of the registrations with, if they are the sponsoring folks, then they can actually make registration so much easier.
Right.
We don't have to go through the town and
We don't have to go through the
Right.
different websites.
And
know
then
which
keep the
one.
accounting, so.
I'm just gonna voice my opinion on trophies right now, since every year I clean out and throw out whole lots of my kids' trophies after 2 years, so,
Yeah, but if you make it an annual thing, you can do one trophy and then put people's.
if we have one trophy and it's here,
Well, if we did that,
Fine.
that would be on us to go to like,
if it's the Stanley
walking
Cup
that.
type, I was just
Like every year, just have like.
perfect,
It's a great, it's a great, also,
Yeah.
market it.
So if you're that, I can price that out through
Sure.
some of that, and we can see about.
Okay,
And then
Emma,
we'll
did you
get a
wanna
new
say
display
something?
case.
Yes, I was just looking for it actually. I just had saved a cornhole tournament thing that's actually close to here. It's a nonprofit that it's for. I can send you the information that they
Great.
have posted,
Send it to them.
because it has like their pricing and everything, and they have spectator tickets as well on theirs.
Oh,
So,
that's kind of interesting.
One of them is
Okay, why
given a
don't
prize
you-
of the cornholes.
I'm sorry?
One of them is given a prize as for cornhole boards.
Yeah.
That's one of the prizes.
yeah,
that-
yeah.
In terms of pricing, so I think 30 to 40 bucks a team
Is
is
reasonable.
reasonable.
I agree.
I think, and I took it off the website just because there was old pricing and stuff and some language that
I think
I think was on,
$20 per person for an entire day of cornhole, and you're guaranteed with the way they're setting it up, you're guaranteed at least 3 to 4 games. I think that that's more than reasonable.
so 20 bucks per, and I
I
think,
do. If you want to do $20 per person, you know, usually everybody comes with a team anyway.
Yeah.
That comes with a partner, nobody's gonna go and say, you
Right.
know,
and again, if it's, you know, we can probably have, you know, well, and again, where Hanson Rod and Gun is gonna be
sponsor.
sponsoring, some of that's probably gonna have to go through them in terms of
They have a terrific network.
You know, like
Okay.
pre-registration, things like that. I mean, we might be able to have people pre-register, but then pay the bill. And
Okay.
for a lot of people, if they have bills in their pocket, it's $20 bills, so
Right.
it's an
It
easy,
makes sense.
yeah. So I think what we're gonna also have to do is, in terms of the paperwork and stuff, they're gonna have to pull the thing to rent the lodge or whatever.
Right.
And probably have to schedule something for the board of selectmen.
Board of Selectmen meeting, right, so, once you confirm that they are the people we are going to use,
Okay,
then we can take it to a Board of Selectmen meeting.
Cool.
For the proper paperwork and everything.
sounds good.
You guys, wait, you're talking about coming before us to use your lodge?
No, much like the bunny breakfast, the Pembroke Chamber.
Oh,
On
okay,
behalf
cause,
of Camp Kiwanee, we got, you know, but we had to go through you and ask.
well, I think if Recreation is hosting the event and you're.
We're not,
Okay.
we're having, because of the prize factor, we were asking the Hanson Rod and Gun Club to sponsor it, so it would be them asking for the fee waiver for use of the camp,
For the benefit.
for the benefit of Camp Kiwanee.
And also it'd be, you know, they would be able to help us with the marketing as well as
All right,
providing
we-
volunteers.
I think seeing how you know, I mean, I think you guys can host the event, and if Gun and Rod Club wants to sponsor you guys, I think that's a totally different scenario. You know what I mean? I think that would be a little.
Again, do we want to add that to the list of questions for when you're up at
Yeah,
town hall?
I'll figure out the best way to structure.
Okay,
I guess I'm a little bit confused because it was approved for Pembroke Chamber. I mean, we did it the same exact way where we, you know, it was for the benefit of the camp and we were able to solicit sponsorships because the town we cannot
Because when Bev
solicit
came in.
sponsorships. We can't. There's no donation of that sort unless, you know, so for example, the $600 that you're talking about, we were told, you know, by our town clerk that this is, you know, this is something that we need to take out of the budget that we don't have. So if you have something like this, the Rod and Gun Club it has more flexibility, they can pay for this out of the, do you know what I mean, out of the monies raised, but right now, this would be completely difficult for us to find $600. Can we appropriate $600 to do, you know what I mean? So that's why I think that doing it the way we had done it.
All right, you know, I just was trying to make it easier for you guys.
And I would be more than happy to come and do the same thing as we did last year and put it in front of
I think what Matt is saying is that we might not have to jump through all those hoops, even this way.
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna ask at town hall,
Okay,
the best way to do this, so that we can have prizes and, waive the lodge fee,
gotcha.
and just see how we need to go about doing that. Emma?
I would also relook at the price structure you guys are looking at, because I know that like friends of mine that compete in these things, I cannot play cornhole for my life, so I don't know anything about it, pay like $50 per person to do
Right.
that, and they did.
I think where it's our first
Yeah.
event.
Yeah, and I think, because when I talked to these guys too, they're like, we can do like a very serious, you know, not people getting into fights over it, but he's like, there are different levels of, you know,
Right.
tournaments that we do.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna
This is a very
err toward the
relaxed,
more just friendly,
simple
kind of
one.
laid back. And again, it may change over time when we see the types of teams who are attracted, but if we can create it so it's again, people just come and have fun and it's not completely about, oh, well, we're gonna
Harassment?
crush all our opponents and.
Can we double dip in your phone calls to food trucks for this event?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that's on September 15th. Okay, so when you talk to food trucks, we'll book them for the Halloween as well as the cornhole tournament. Okay?
Super.
All right, ice cream social? I don't know anything about this.
No, that was sort of, okay, so I went to the Board of Health, just to ask them about the possibility of having ice cream back at the Cove. We both go, the experience. I was thinking in terms of families, after having conversations with a couple of families. One of the things that we talked about was the Cove experience, and we don't have those additional things. And in order to kind of attract more people to the Cove, it's great that we've got a lot of traffic now, but I think we need to start thinking about what could make the experience a little bit more. And so I think ice cream, and I'm not really sure what the scenario was in the past, but they did give me a company. The Board of Health has approved this person, and they have insurances, etc. So I would like to have the ice cream truck return on a schedule, and I also would like a contract put together so that there are guidelines, very, very specific, and an understanding that's very clear. So I would like to ask, this is just sort of, brainstorming, but I would like to see if maybe we could do an 80-20 where this person could come in, we could promote them, they are the official ice cream provider, whatever.
For Camp Kiwanee.
For Camp Kiwanee, and they give us 20% of, the proceeds of.
Do you have someone in mind?
I do. So the Board of Health suggested a local person, Bert's Ice Cream. So,
Hold on.
that's what I want to put out there. I have no idea what.
Okay. That being said,
Yep.
I think Emma has some information for you.
I like the idea. Bert has come down to the Cove in the past. He has screamed at my staff because people weren't coming to buy his ice cream. I was just going through a different venue. However, there was a woman 3 or 4 years ago, it was 4 years ago now, who came, she had a Sunday truck, it was awesome. And there were lines, she had fraps, she had everything. And we did have an 80-20 contract with her, and she was fantastic. She donated swim team trophies, everything. She was great. I don't know if the Board of Health would still have her information, but.
What I want to know is why is she not doing that now? What was the?
I don't know what it was. I wasn't the beach director at the time. I have no idea what went down, but I do know that she did a lot that year. I think she was an older woman too. So I don't know if she's still around, but I would suggest.
Well, I'm just saying something, I understand, I think there were
Yes.
some conflicts in the past, but the other thing too, I think communication, there was a humongous communication breakdown. And so, for somebody to do business,
Yes.
I think this gentleman had a couple of points.
Yes.
I think it's worth a try. We have a
Yeah.
short notice, this guy's a local,
Yeah.
we just want ice cream.
There's one in
So-
Hanover that's interested in the Cove as well.
But
Yeah.
But they're not approved by the Board of Health. So they're gonna have to jump through a couple of hoops where this guy's already got X, Y, Z.
Yes.
And my thing is, in terms of, if it doesn't work out with him based on, stipulations that we have, then fine, because at this point, we're gonna be searching out this person from Hanover, they have to fill out all this paperwork, they have to also, there's a fee.
Yes.
There's a fee. So in addition to that, we have to guarantee that this person's gonna come to the Cove and be successful, right?
Yes.
And there've been a few people that I guess have come to the Cove and it hasn't been successful, so they don't return. We don't wanna be marketing to families, there's an ice cream truck, and then this ice cream truck comes in, and I only made $20 last week, I'm not coming back.
Yes.
We don't want that, we want somebody to
Who's
come in.
coming.
And so I think, given that, if we could try this, just so that we can say, okay, this worked this year, and we put this into part of a Cove experience, part of the business plan. We just need something.
Yes. I just know that he had basically quit on us and said that he was going to Marshall because he was making more money and had.
Right. It was
he stormed, he screamed at my staff and he left.
So, one of the things that we can speak to him about is,
Yes.
look, that's not okay, obviously, but these are our terms like a business.
Yes.
So, not this nonchalant, oh, I think today I'm gonna come at 10:30.
Yeah.
No, it's 12:45, I'm gonna this out, 12:45 to 1 o'clock, the dreaded, parent swim,
Adult swim.
adult swim. That's a terrific time to do it. And if you have the gate people, making sure as they come in, hey guys, today the ice cream truck is coming at 12:45, you have some signage out there, it's a buzz among the families, it's every Friday. This guy shows up at 12:45,
Yeah.
whatever time, and you know, we hold him to that. If he doesn't meet those guidelines, then, you know, but we need to try it.
Yeah.
Do you know, we do need to try it, because right now that's,
Okay, so are you going to reach out to this person?
yes, what are some stipulations that we would like to have?
I think if he came twice a day on hot days, what do you think? You're the director.
I can look at what the busy days, like specific days of the week, because I know that it will probably need to be more of a schedule, like days of the week rather than if it's hot today, come, if it's not, don't come. And then see like the 2 busiest days maybe and have those 2 days be his set days to come. And I would say probably like the 2 o'clock adult swim. That's when time of day that's really busiest.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Well, let me just ask him, I'll say 2 o'clock adult swim, can you make that happen?
And then just be there from 2 o'clock to 2:15, which is when adult swim is.
Why don't you just have them come, never mind the busiest or that, it's just
Yeah,
a
have
set
them come from
time,
2
you
to
come.
4 or something
If you
like
make
that.
money, you don't, you know, just, you know he's gonna come every day at 2 o'clock.
The other thing is the parking lot has been very, very tight. for the
Well,
ice
that
cream
was
trucks to get
exactly what I was
through.
just gonna say. There may not even be room for him because of the way the parking has been down there
Yes.
recently.
It's
But at
been
the park, at the electric cabin or something.
Yes.
If there's not enough room for an ice cream truck to go through, how about an ambulance?
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's something that we should really mark out is,
We absolutely are looking, we wanna look into that, that's under the code,
Yes.
parking.
okay.
Yeah, we've been talking about it because it's,
It's crazy. Like
It's
I couldn't,
nuts.
I drive a tiny Honda Civic and I couldn't get through the other day.
yep. People are just, you know,
That's a
people,
good problem, that's a good problem.
Yeah.
it is. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's a nice one. So just 2 o'clock to 2:15 adult swim, what about I ask him, what can you commit to? That's
Yes.
the time frame that we would like you.
Or even if you just say we have adult swim every hour on the hour. And it's busiest from this time to this time.
I think I want to give it one time,
Yeah.
one time,
Yeah.
and then I want to just, you know, in the beginning, you want to see what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, given that there hasn't been most positive history, we want to make sure that it's the right fit.
Yes.
But, you know, I can ask him a little bit that this is, if he would agree to 80-20, is that something that we want, 80-20?
Well, that's what it would have to be.
Yeah.
Okay, does he have to sign a contract, is there?
Yes, he would.
Okay, so an 80-20.
And he absolutely cannot be yelling at staff.
No, we can speak to him about that.
And put them on a short leash.
Yeah.
Any issues, talk to Judy. Don't yell at staff.
Bring ice cream.
Bill has a comment.
In talking with Mary today, so I did inquire about how we can get food trucks down there.
Okay.
So one of the things we may have to do even with the ice cream truck is put out an RFP. Because we're a town, they do have to apparently have food trucks bid on that.
Okay.
I think to have a contract to be there, you know.
To be the
schedule-wise, yeah. So I know we're just waiting back to kind of hear what that process is.
We're trying to do this with the ice cream truck.
Yeah, so I think
I got something different for that, it wasn't.
for the.
You went through the Board of Health though, right? You didn't go through
Yeah, the
Mary?
Board of Health said that they have all proper, so what you're trying to say is this, I have to ask.
Well, and maybe it's for a different, maybe where I'm thinking that it's gonna be like burgers, dogs, food and all
Oh,
that,
yeah.
and maybe it's different. I know that to ice cream, you know, I also don't wanna tell them, hey, come down here, and then all of a sudden we find out that,
They weren't supposed to.
well, we were supposed to at least put it out there, so if another Joe's Ice Cream truck
Would you like me
with
to call Mary, because I would like to.
Yes.
Yeah, if you talk to Teresa, I would maybe just double check with Mary, and if this is a different scenario than like food truck,
Okay.
then we don't have to, hop through that, which is
Okay.
one less hoop, it's beautiful.
Okay, so you're gonna take care of that and report back? Do we need a vote on anything in the meantime?
Not yet, because nothing's put in, I'd like to see it in August.
Okay.
I mean, if we can get all, T's crossed, dots.
All right, any more discussion on this? Joan?
I think we should have a set time for them, like 2 to 4 or 2 to 5, whatever, not.
Well, you can come at 2.
Yeah.
During
the
the-
stay, yeah, and then if it does stop getting busy, then he could leave
No,
probably.
we just want him there for a short, sell it at this point and then go. Because then, we're already talking about parking. You want it a short, we need the parking lot to be accessible. If you're gonna have this ice cream park a truck parked there, it's gonna cause a problem. So he could sit there for an hour, but then that, you know, he'd have to move around if you think
Yeah.
about it, you know? So I think if he's during that
He's
adult
getting a
swim.
busy time too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Most kids are gonna get the one ice cream, they're not gonna have, parents aren't gonna let.
Yeah, you
kids
already
have more than
had
one.
it, you're good, you already had it.
It's too costly.
A lot of
Especially the
parents
cost of ice
actually used
cream.
to get annoyed with the ice cream truck too, because they put this like thing on and the kids get out of the water and bag for ice
Yeah.
cream.
Yeah, a lot of
So,
parents
yeah.
didn't want.
They didn't want it down there, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they'd be down there every day, and every day the ice cream truck would come in and they'd now to spend another $10.
$10, and that has actually drawn people away.
Yes.
But so the other thing too is we tell him no music. No music. It's, you know, a lot of little kids don't know time frames,
Yeah.
but if parents want to make that choice, because then now you're cutting out a whole other slew of parents who are like, yeah, I'd really like to be able to get ice cream. So no music, and it's just a, you know, common knowledge that they're coming XYZ time, rain or shine. And then just keep it simple, but I'm just gonna get Mary, ask Mary if there's some additional things that we need to do.
Okay, all set on that? Any further discussion on ice cream social? Okay, moving on. Old business, miscellaneous correspondence. Lon?
I got, just this one, real quick in regard, part of it has to do with video recording, which we have, but just, combining in terms of, taking minutes and all that.
Want me to read it?
So- I'll just say, the minute taker always take notes, record all the votes, so motion, second, and then what the vote was. Recording device is only used to supplement and assist with drafting the minutes, once minutes are completed. You don't actually need to keep the recording, once the minutes are recorded on paper, you don't need to keep it. Meeting agenda is used as a guide to do the best to prepare minutes. And again, sometimes just needing to, again, just speak with the members to say, okay, you know, what, you know, how did this vote go, and just to make sure everybody's on the same page. So always, you know, just minutes always done, and there was a request, obviously, that selectmen wanted meetings to have video recorded.
Yes.
And as we can tell,
Okay,
we are all shining stars that are gonna be on Goodman Hanson Community Access.
yay. I spoke with Mary about this too. If in the future, we're doing minutes, whether it's you, me, and we don't need to have what every bit of discussion was, just what was the discussion, what was decided, who motioned, who seconded, final vote. We're gonna be very broad, and that, she said, is what she's looking for, and that's what's acceptable. Anything else on that?
Not on that specific.
Okay, do you have any other miscellaneous questions?
Just back to, I know, a couple weeks ago, we got the memo just about, email communication, and again, just any sort of inquiries, recommendation, comments, you know, sent to me with a copy of you, and that, CC, that's via email. And just in terms of things at the camp too, you know, obviously as the director, I oversee the caretakers and the staff. So if ever there's, you know, an issue or an inquiry, I do know that a caretaker was approached by some members and was asked, you know, a lot of questions, which again are questions that can be directed to me.
Okay.
And then I'll get you guys the answers, just, again, knowing that I'm put in this position to be that liaison and the person in the middle of.
But you're still new and, right, so
Yeah.
it's, okay, we're gonna be respectful of that.
And so, Billy, your email, bboyle@hanson.
No, we're doing, rec director at Hanson-MA. So RAC director
And I don't think it's capitalized.
At Hanson.
-MA.gov.
Okay.
But yeah, anytime, you like on the emails, you can email me, CC, Diane, and then that's,
Anything else?
Well, these caretakers.
Anything else? Okay, under miscellaneous correspondence, I have a couple of things. Do you have that letter? With the mail from that woman? Yes. Thank you. Okay, I received an email from a company down, I believe it's on the Cape. And I'm just bringing this to the commission because I want to know how you feel about it. It's a company out of Texas. And they are dealing with, I'm just gonna have to read because it's just, I don't even know how to explain it well.
Oh, you're talking about that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he might have that printed. Yes, actually.
Does he have it printed?
I don't know if he has it printed.
Okay.
Crazy day today.
Anyway, here we go. Okay, this was dated the 12th. Hi, I work for Texas Crew Productions based in Austin, Texas. We are currently working with the Discovery Network for a TV series seeking to help people who are experiencing a paranormal problem in their home or business.
Yes.
Please,
Look at me on TV.
we are, please listen. Control yourself. This is being video recorded. Thank you.
You are welcome.
We are searching nationwide for interesting personal cases to investigate, and I read through the internet that there is likely some paranormal activity at Camp Kiwanee. Please let me know if you'd like to chat more about this on the phone. I have my opinion on this.
Discovery Network?
Okay.
This is Discovery Network?
Discovery. They work for a production company who is currently in contact with the Discovery Network. Okay, so just let me finish, please.
Sure.
I really don't believe that advertising possible paranormal activity at the camp would do well for holding events here. So, I know that if I am paying for my daughter's wedding, I don't want it at a place where people might be seeing spirits or whatever goes on in the paranormal. I am going to, it would be my feeling that I would just decline this offer. And I would like to know what everybody else thinks.
Where did this ever come from?
She
And
said
what is their source?
the internet.
There's lots of stuff about Alice on the internet.
Okay, and I don't even know who Alice is, nor do I really care. Sorry, Alice.
So what are they asking?
They're asking if we would like to speak to them about possibly being included in looking for paranormal activity here at the camp. And then beyond that, I can't speak to details because I don't know for sure. But I would imagine they're working with the Discovery Network, so there would be some sort of public filming here. If it was determined that there was.
I don't know, I like that stuff. I think it's really cool.
I get that people like it.
And people,
And that's not my issue. My issue is how would it affect the camp? That's what I want people to think about.
I think it would really be, I don't know.
Okay, but I want to hear it. So can we, if anybody has an opinion or thought,
I just like to see the reference where they get the, I mean, anything can be pulled from the internet.
Yeah.
Is there an actual?
well, that's all she's
paranormal-
saying. That's all she's saying is that she pulled it from the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, good, yeah.
She's not saying that of course, if she talks to me about this, and I did call her, I have nothing to say to her.
Right.
Because I don't know anything about paranormal activity here, or anywhere else for that matter, but I don't think any instances of it have been brought to my attention. So, is there anybody else with opinions on this that would like to speak? And I see Emma's hand raised, so I'm going to go ahead.
I think a lot of like the younger crowd, like people my age would love to have a wedding with a ghost. Like,
Okay?
I don't think it would be bad for business.
Okay, that's good. I want to hear that. Bill?
I would be open to it. I think the bigger thing, we probably have to get clearance and everything from, Mary and all that, have them come in. But if we're gonna be potentially on the national stage, I think it could certainly help a lot of other causes,
Okay.
by drawing attention to us. And I know, they always say any press is good press.
But
There's
there's
certainly.
good attention in this?
Well, there's certainly press that's just awful and we don't need it. I think having possibly like a, charming ghost story about this place gives it a little bit more allure.
Invite
It could-
Alice to the wedding?
It could be beneficial.
I know nothing about it.
I think it's at least worth exploring and then finding out, are they just trying to exploit us? And then maybe we don't entertain it, but I think if things line up correctly, it could be a good and a positive, possibly boost for this place.
Okay. Joan?
There is a mention on somewhere in historical Camp Kiwanee that there is a story about the ghost that's here, that's supposedly here. So that's probably where she pulled it up, and every once in a while I can find it, but I don't always find it. I don't know.
You always look for it?
No, I don't. It's in looking up something else, though, all of a sudden that one page pops up about the ghost of Camp Kiwanee.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. I'll probably say it's the Seals Lodge or whatever, but.
Maddie?
I will tell you, I've had many guests bring this up to me, like just being
Really?
giddy and excited, being like, is it a thing? Have you heard of it? Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I have
about?
too.
Yeah.
I've watched my
Really?
people chatting about it and they're really
Okay.
excited and we say like,
Okay.
Is it based on?
Like, that's your favorite
American
word?
history?
No, it's after this.
Do you want the story?
Well, I really don't want to do it now during the meeting, because it's 8 o'clock, and we've gone 2
I'll
hours.
give it to you later.
So, Bill, would you like to call, or do you want me to call? Because I'm amenable to doing either.
I'll give her a call. Yes.
Okay, you have the information.
Yeah.
The other, yes, Matt?
I had 2 comments, two quick comments.
Please.
The first one was, look at the hitching post when Hell Kitchen came in.
Yeah.
Who?
Hell's
Kitchen.
I was kitchen.
Or horrible, kitchen nightmares.
it's like a
Who's
reality
story?
fix it.
So
Okay.
Yeah,
they
go
came
ahead.
in, they seemed to be doing okay, and that was saying how horrible your food is, that you're going to
We did
consume.
fantastic after that.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just one thought. The second thought is, we have to think about who the TV show is, what kind of reputation that would be. I don't know if there was a...
It's Discovery Network.
In contact with.
Right.
Right, so that's just one
We
something.
need to know
to
more
look into.
details.
And then the last thought, sorry, I said 2, here's 3, is before you reach out to them, kind of look at what other paranormal activity that is here in the town of Hanson. Maybe not do it here at the lodge, but you can say, oh, Town Hall Pond, did you hear about the selectman ghost that, oh, yes, big thing.
I'm on Alice fan.
We're better here.
Sometimes to sign on, sorry, I'm going to derail the meeting, so that's all I have to say.
Okay, so, all right, in order to bring it back, let's just get a preliminary phone call in and
Sure.
find out what their intent is. And you can
Yeah.
regale her with tales of paranormal activity throughout the town.
Yeah, my mom watches all those shows, so I got a pretty good
Maybe there's
background
something
in
up
it.
at the hospital,
Right,
or,
right, there you go, hospital,
Yeah,
good.
there was something up at the hospital.
that was on.
They do those
They don't-
paranormal shows at inns
Yeah.
and stuff, and people
Okay.
stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
people love that stuff.
More power to them.
They did
Okay,
that in Middleborough, at the town hall in Middleborough. It's been done locally.
okay, so maybe for the 200th anniversary, we have a haunted Hanson walk. Okay,
For Halloween, have Alice go find props.
all right, well, I guess we're gonna
What's for?
peruse.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that being said, under miscellaneous correspondence again, I'm opening a letter from Nicole Dwyer from Braintree. She is, if any of you remember, the woman that rented the Frontier Cabin, came when no one was here. She came, was it before, Bill, you were hired?
It might have been the week, I think it was the week prior.
The week before Bill was hired, and Lon, you had the day off, or she came?
She came
early.
She-
It was before.
I'm sorry, there's, okay, wait a minute, go ahead. Go ahead, John.
It was Hanson Day time that happened, that weekend.
Okay,
Hanson Day.
all right. So, but if I remember correctly,
So she had booked it, her and her husband were coming. I was happened to be off that Friday. Check-in's 3 to 4, comes to check in, but she came earlier in the day.
so no one was here. She was uncomfortable with the desolate camp and left and requested her money back for the rental. We voted at a meeting not to give her her money back. She has subsequently written this letter, which I will read now, and then I will just tell you what Mary said, because I brought this up to her as well. It says, "I am writing to you today based on the suggestion from Lon, who checked with your town administrator. I had emailed Camp Kiwanee on Thursday, May 23rd regarding interest in my husband, regarding interest in my husband and I camping the following weekend. Lon responded with availability, which was May 31st and June 2nd, noting the Frontier, North and South End cabins available, and on June 1, only the Frontier cabin was available, the time we wanted, for 2 nights. I own a small camper and have gone to several places over the years, but my camper is in for repairs and we wanted to get away. I had asked Lon for pictures of the Frontier cabin as that was the only one available both nights. However, the website was currently a work in progress, so there were no pictures to show me. Not knowing anything about the cabins nor the camp, I agreed to reserve. We had been through quite a lot recently and needed to get away. Seeing how one of the nights only had the Frontier cabin available, I was under the impression there would be other campers there. I got out of work early to get there. When we showed up at 4:15, we went to check in. There was nobody around. We drove around, checked the office, everything was locked. I tried to call the office and there was no answer. I called town hall and there was no answer. I called the police as I read in the contract that they would drive through the camp at night. The officer tried to help me contact someone there with no luck. We walked around the desolate campground and we finally found the cabin. I was not sure if the camp closed unexpectedly as there were no other campers and nobody to check us in. It was scary and there was no way I was going to stay there not knowing what was going on. When I got in touch with Lon via email advising that we showed up and nobody was there and we'd like a refund, she said she would place it on the next Rec Commission agenda for review, noting the check-in and check-out time on the contract. The Recreation Commission voted against a refund on a 1-6-0 vote, but did offer us to stay 2 nights within the next year, which we are not interested in. I am asking for a full refund of $160. The agreement sent to me notes to submit my vehicle and guest registration 14 days prior to my event. I booked this in less than a week prior to my stay. The agreement also states that we need to return keys to the town of Hanson by 11 a.m. I was not able to get keys. The cancellation policy mentions a check-in time of 3 p.m. It does not state anything like between 3 and 4 p.m. only, or nobody will be available to check in at such and such time. The contract does not state that we need to be there at 3 p.m. or any specific time, nor does it state what time the office closes. Lastly, the contract states that a no-show will be charged the entire rental amount. I was not a no-show. It should be noted that we did drive through there on Sunday on our way home from another campground and found it in the same condition with nobody there, no campers, no cars, and the office closed. We did not prohibit others from booking in this campground as it was evident that nobody stayed there. I was under the impression there would be campers there since we didn't have the option to stay in the other cabins one night, thus having to rent a cabin that slept 8 when there was just 2 of us. I am happy to talk to you about this if you'd like. My cell phone is such. I am hoping very much to put this behind me and get a full refund. Thank you, Nicole Dwyer. Okay, this goes to my previous comment of policies and procedures, that as these things come up, we're going to need to address them. So, Mary believes she should get her money back. So I just want you to know that now, okay? Maybe we need to change the rental agreement in the future, stating that check-in is between such and such an hour. That is when someone will be available at the camp. We might also want to say that cabin rentals are often for weddings, so you might not be seeing a lot of, tents popping up and kids running around. Rentals are often attached to evening events at the camp or whatever. I don't know, this is just an idea. However, I just want to put it in everybody's head because this is a scenario that is new to us. And we're going to need to find something or someone to address it.
If Mary believes that we need to give her the refund, maybe because, as you can see, she's making a lot of, she's picking apart the contract for $160 that's given to her. It's a headache that we don't need. Some bad PR that might be in the wings that we don't need. It's unfortunate that she signed a contract and she didn't honor it. I mean, under the impression doesn't give you the right to just make up your own, you know,
Well,
feelings
what-
towards regulations, but I mean,
When was she supposed to check in? Check in is at what time?
3.
3. She said she showed up at 4:15.
isn't she gonna?
You said she came early.
No, it was 10.
I'm sorry?
She told me it was 10, but
She told you it was 10.
we have kids that run 3 to 4, so I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there that day, so.
Okay.
There are no campgrounds that check in at 10 o'clock anywhere in this region, including the Cape.
Okay.
Right, but she claims she didn't get here till 4:15.
Now she's claiming 4:15.
Didn't she say something about keys to be turned in?
Keys are supposed to be turned in, however, she was never given keys.
We don't give keys.
But it was in the
I'll get to
contract.
the bridal cottage.
It is in the contract, it is
Right,
the
but she
bridal
doesn't-
cottage.
But she didn't rent the bridal cottage, she
But
rented the.
What she's trying to say in that, though, is that she did not violate any portion of the contract, and that is an example of a reason that she would not be able to get her money back. She's not saying that, you know, we're not accusing her of that. What she's pointing out is that in our contract, it does state that a reason for a non-refund would be not returning the keys. She was never given keys.
Do we have actual phone calls from the police as to what time she did call?
There was nothing on that voicemail or ID.
There was nothing on our voicemail either that she called?
No voicemail or ID of the police, because I checked it
Okay. To us either, like no, she didn't.
on our phone.
Unless she can provide cell phone records that she did call someone here on her end, because she certainly has.
Do you have
those.
a copy of her contract that she signed originally?
Okay, so what are we thinking here, people?
Oh, you have to give her her money back at this point in time, because otherwise you're gonna really, like Judy said, you know, that.
She's probably 2 steps away from going on social media.
yeah, it's a can of worms for
I mean, I'm
$160.
surprised she hasn't already.
Yeah, I'm sure let's just,
Any other discussion on this, Bill?
I think for $160 to appease her and hopefully create some goodwill. I also think, you know, Mary's very wise in her ways,
I
and,
believe
you know,
that.
if she's saying, listen, at this point, you know, again, she came here, there's nobody here. Even there may be some discrepancies with her story. I think for us to say, we're not gonna give you $160 because you can't prove that it was before $450, I think just
Give her the money back.
give her the money back
Okay.
and hope that it builds some goodwill and.
And I think that we should maybe look at the situation and learn from this and
Exactly, that was gonna be
what
what I
do
said.
we, what do we have to do to make this not happen again?
Right, so we might need to revisit our contract, okay? And maybe add some things to it, be a little more explicit. Does that sound reasonable?
it has to be a
If you
separate.
say you're a campground, but yet you're saying, okay, we only do wedding parties, I mean.
No, no
Campground
one-
is a general term, and
Right.
anybody can get a cabin for a week or a weekend, and no one's here.
Right, exactly.
Was there any reason why that was the only facility available, the Frontier Cabin at that weekend?
Is that part of this story
I
accurate?
have to look it up, so I don't
Okay.
remember now.
Because she said nothing was available for the
Probably
2
wasn't
days.
available. There's gotta be a reason why.
Maybe
It might have been a wedding or something that was renting out the
Yeah,
space.
there's still other North End cabins that could have been rented out,
It could have
cabin
been-
15
it could
or
have been Girl Scouts. I
something.
have to look, I'm not gonna guess. I
Okay.
believe that is.
That was
Yes,
just
Girl
fine.
Scouts.
Girl Scouts?
Yes, Girl Scouts.
Yeah. So it might have been Girl Scouts, but we don't know for sure.
Okay, so would someone like to make a motion then to change our previous vote to give Nicole Dwyer back her $160 rental fee for the Frontier Cabin
We're all supposed to be approved by the board of selectmen.
as approved by the Board of
So
Selectmen?
moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Do I vote? Do I vote? Oh, do I get to vote? Okay. Any other miscellaneous correspondence? Done? Caretaker weekly list of items, I'm pretty sure they have a ton to do and it's all set and ready to go.
This one, yeah. The caretaker.
These are the warrants?
Oh, the warrants there. You said caretakers, right?
Yeah, this is the caretaker. What? Yeah, I'm about to copy myself. Okay.
So last week was one of the first days that we had some of our new recruits out there with our seasoned veterans going through South Campground. So Maddie went through with everybody. They, went through Brian's checklist here, so we've got, a lot of the things that we obviously need to start taking care of in terms of exterior, floor condition, all that. I also have attached something that was done by Maddie prior to me getting in, highlighting, a lot of the south end cabins, so some of the missing matches again, talking about graffiti and actually what kind of graffiti. So I guess some of the graffiti is just people like Barb 1987, class or whatever, and other stuff is, gross, and so they were painted over it. Anything that was gross and whatnot has been painted over. There's still obviously people's names and stuff. Graffiti is gonna have to be addressed at some point. It also goes on, notes about that Wasp Nest is still in cabin 5, because I met them today. And so this goes through a lot of the windows too, so how many windows, sizes of the screens. So I believe, so Maddie, this was you that put that together, correct? Okay.
This is a lot of work, Maddie, thank you.
This is from last year.
And I know that, obviously we've got almost everything complete on the deck out here. The gentlemen have worked on some of the rescreening, so cabins right now on the south side, 6 through 13 have been done. They're gonna continue to do more of those. Part of what they need to, or part of their work has been taken to the north side as well. When Bob came in to inspect the porch over here, we also did a little bit of walking around on the north side, and he pointed out some things that need to be addressed. So we also have a punch list
Okay,
that, again, the guys start chipping away at, some
alright,
railings and stuff over there, porches. So they will be busy.
plenty to do.
Yeah, plenty to do. We're obviously gonna be helping Emmett too with her
Like her chair.
Yeah, I said ladder chair, but yeah.
Yep, like her chair.
So, yeah, I mean, tomorrow's gonna be the start of, kind of some reorganization with the campground.
beds.
The guys, yeah.
Yep.
They're also gonna be busy in terms of, some maintenance and whatnot on the north side that was pointed out by Bob.
We'll
Okay.
update the list as we go through.
Thank you. Okay, the warrants.
Oh yeah, just real quickly, I know the picnic tables, in
The,
terms of placement of them.
the good ones.
So the good ones up on the south side, so a lot of them are positioned around the fireplace.
Yep.
And it has been requested by some of the wedding parties that are using that area, that they be there because they're gonna have a fire and all that. We also have a family that's coming in, it's been renting the grounds for probably longer than I've been alive.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they also have a request that they want all the picnic tables up that way, so for the good picnic tables, we are gonna leave it just because it seems like the majority of the people want them near the fire, because that's where they congregate. We are gonna obviously take stock of the ones that should not be utilized at all, should not be, probably turn them into kindling or something.
There are some of the hope you could add to that list too, I can point out which ones that are. That would
Bad
be great
tables.
to be taken out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll add those to the list. I know, there's only a handful of tables over on the north side. There's one that, Ed is amazing, but I don't even think he can bring it back from the dead. So.
Well, everything has its lifespan,
Yeah.
so. The wooden tables, I don't know if they need to be declared surplus. If they're falling apart, they end up basically being trash.
I'll find out, because I'm gonna be up at town hall tomorrow and talking with Todd and all that,
It's
so
not
I'll,
anything you can actually sell
No.
or scrap.
yeah, I'll,
Just to keep a record, you mean?
yeah,
Okay.
I'll ask them just to make sure, so we don't get in trouble. Yeah,
Thank
I'll make sure that we have clearance before we do anything.
Okay. The warrants are coming around if you'd like to look at them. Policies and procedures, we clearly know we need to review these, and again, we're going to have an extra meeting in order to do that, and I think that that's gonna be best done after the summer because of people's vacations.
Can we did say for both business plan and plan, we need to have a completely separate meeting where it's just that. Are we still doing that? Was there a date that we put forth for either of them?
Business plan one? That's
Yeah.
Well, they,
We need a specific date. I
well,
think.
there were, I think, 2 dates in August that were given. One of the dates is a Tuesday, which I think
Right,
was the date that was happening.
So do we,
Could be the date of draft completion.
draft completion, yeah, we
Yes,
just started.
So I think, there was a middle date too, either like the 15th or,
no, I think it was the 13th.
We presented in October.
Okay, so this is the business plan
Please don't vote
date.
on
It's August 13th, right?
August 13th, okay. Yeah, I have it written down in another folder.
We've got something
But
coming
if
up
you already have it on your
listed for
calendar.
August 16th for a meeting.
On a Friday?
It's on Tuesday.
So on Tuesday, I think that was
What
pushed
am I
because a couple of people couldn't make it to the one.
Yeah, there was, some vacations and stuff.
August 16th is
16th
a Friday.
is a Tuesday.
What am I looking for?
August 13th,
August
I
13th.
have listed.
I have August 13th.
Right.
So
That's
that's
a
the day, that's the day.
August
for business.
13th.
August 13th, sorry, August.
Yeah, the 16th is the date we're looking at for the concert.
Right.
Okay, so
August 13th is the meeting for the business plan,
Okay, awesome.
Right,
okay?
Perfect.
that's our next meeting.
Yep. Okay. And
Oh, I'm sorry, just for the business plan or for this whole, just for the business plan, right?
that's gonna be our meeting for that week. Okay?
We're meeting the 29th.
And
You think you
the
want-
29th
No, we need
or
a
the
specific time. How are
26th?
we gonna do that?
29th.
Oh, July 29th.
I have a list of that, though.
Yeah, I mean,
so-
Our next meeting is July 29th.
Okay, I'm a little confused. I'm sorry, July 20, we talked about having a meeting separate to focus on
The business plan.
Just
I
for
don't-
three of you.
I don't think that was scheduled for last meeting.
Do we?
Yes, it was.
And you're saying that's August 13th and July 29th is a regular meeting for us?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha, okay. So I'm just gonna put that in there.
Okay?
And so that's, what is it, 6 PM? August 13th is 6 PM, and then July 29th is our,
But you guys were gonna meet on the business plan separately. Weren't you? And then.
no, we can't, because it has to be all of us.
No, you were gonna bring a draft that we could all. that
Was
we
it
could-
you and I, or is it 3 of us?
Three of us.
Yeah.
We were gonna do
So
this,
we'll
and then
just-
we're bringing the draft on the 13th.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, then we need to do it like a separate,
Right.
So we just, the 3 of us, where it's, again, nothing's being decided upon, so we can't get together and,
Okay.
draft yet.
Okay,
And we're not,
well, just, I'm
So
gonna
we have-
send you an email and CC
Yeah.
Diana, we can just.
So let me know. Okay.
So are we having a meeting on, a regular meeting on the 12th?
The 29th, you mean?
The 29th, and then you have the 12th, which is the day before your 13th meeting. We have.
On the 13th, we're gonna have a meeting, to go over the first draft of the
Someone's
business
gonna
plan.
be away, I think there was some.
Okay? All right, so Comcast municipal grant,
so yeah, everything is still moving forward. They came out and they walked the property last week. There are some issues with the way the feed comes in, but right now, they're gonna look at essentially getting a few more poles out in the Woodman Terrace area, essentially where the fire gate is.
that'd be good.
They're gonna bring it in, it's the cleanest way to do it, otherwise, the wiring itself comes in behind the softball field. So it actually comes in bog side, shoots in behind the woods, near the softball field, and comes in next to
Oh,
the
yeah.
caretakers, the Fezzi building here.
Not there.
That's where like the transformers between the Fezzi building and the parking lot. So the gentleman had suggested running the fiber using the poles over here. Actually, I'm sorry, they're not gonna do poles, they're gonna do a conduit, run it underground until it hits the poles.
Wow,
Really?
And do it that way, because,
underground.
Isn't that a right-of-way issue? I mean, when I approached them about that.
I think as long as they don't do it right on the road, but supposedly they'd be able to do it kind of off to the side, and they said, by doing that, by not doing the poles, then we don't have to worry about the trees falling on the wires. So as it stands right now, that's kind of the plan. I think they still have to get the blessing, so that hasn't gone through completely, but if timeline-wise everything keeps going the way it is, we potentially will see it by, he said, I think worst case scenario, November.
Wow, that's kind of exciting.
And so at least everything initially will come to the main building. We will look at least at some point being able to get it to the cove. It might be wishful thinking to get it in other places on the grounds, but obviously first and foremost.
It's a start.
Yeah, in the lot, I mean, that's really where we need to go.
Absolutely.
And then Ryan will be able to work his voodoo somehow
Yeah.
to get it down there.
Okay, thanks. That's awesome. Okay, co-update.
Alrighty. So, as I said earlier, we're sold 116 season passes. And that was as of this morning. I know that more had been sold today, I just didn't have the final count.
Do you know if that's on target with last year or?
I think it's more than at this point last year.
Okay.
Yeah. And then day passes are booming. I've been printing out like 100 day pass applications a week at least, so we are doing very, very well with day passes. Kayaks are actually a little lower than they have been last year.
Really?
Emma, can I ask you, is this all on the computer?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Yay.
It's all in a Google Doc. I'll invite you all to the Google Doc too. I've been working off my phone hotspot down there, so I don't have great internet.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to like take it all into Google and put my phone on, upload it, and then type it in. Just do that on all my data.
Right.
But then it also was working, so I've been having the attendance to my computer and inputting stuff directly, so it's a live feed of like what our daily intake is for people, whether it be season pass, day pass, whatever, and then I just sync it to my phone at the end of the day, so it goes on to the Google Docs system and I can access that from my computer as well, so it's there and it's not like.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have passes and day
Yes.
passes and kayak rentals are down.
A little bit, but they're not like severely down.
What's the average for that weekly? Do you have?
For
a sense?
kayaks, I don't have a weekly average.
What's the revenues, like do you have a sense of, is it rented daily? Do people rent it daily?
I mean, it really depends on the day. Usually once someone comes up and rents one, then people see it and like more will go and rent them. It's not necessarily like they see them out of the water and they think to rent them. It's they see someone else rent one and they're like, oh, I want to rent a kayak too. So I know that we had a big group, so every Wednesday there's a group that's coming and renting 7 kayaks. So that once they're actually up and running, they'll actually bring our numbers up more than it usually is. But I know that after they came in, another big group came and were like, oh, can we rent kayaks too? Unfortunately, most of our kayaks were out with them, but they were able to rent kayaks afterwards when they got back. And then the other thing is with the chair, I was looking at different options of either when they do take out the trees and we had spoke about potentially moving the chair. I think that our chair is actually in good shape. I think it's more just the stair system isn't really set up properly it's not really set at the bottom. It's set on 2 stones and they sink into the sand and then it shifts and the stairs fall. I looked at like prefab ones, they're about $3,000 for the height, not even the same height that we have. They don't really make prefab ones for the height that we need. So I was thinking maybe we can look into the price of what the materials would be. I don't know how to price, I don't know how much wood
It
or
might
how
be more
to that.
cost effective to
It might
build a pressure treated.
Exactly, or to even get the more plasticky material.
ASAP.
Yeah, I don't know if he has experience building that. I'm not a carpenter, I don't understand if it's different to work with that material or not. But maybe seeing if Ed could build one in the off season.
I'm sure he could if he built this.
I'm sure he could too. I'm more than sure of his capabilities, but I think that would be something to maybe look into and I can even show him different designs of what we'd be looking for. But I think that at least the stairs of ours might be on the last leg.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely don't want, like, Josh Big, he was the one who broke this.
Right.
And he is not a big kid.
No, he's not wrong. So anyway, all right, so we're gonna get the new life, the steps
Yes.
fixed, but in the off season, a new lifeguard chair.
And I looked into time clocks. They were pretty pricey actually, and each one of them came with the stipulation of you needed to pay an initial like monthly fee. The online scheduler that I have actually has, you can log in right on your phone and it hangs where you are. So it tells me if you're actually at work when you check in. It's about $1.50 it's $1.50 per month per employee to be able to do that. That's roughly $47 a month, 4 hour staff. And I have no problem doing that. It actually goes into a nice little template for payroll as well.
I think that would be something good to have with all the information, because then we can look at,
Yes.
you know, the cost effectiveness of
Having that.
certain lifeguard, having a certain amount of lifeguards on, what the actual needs are.
Yes.
Might be easier to present that information with something like
Yes,
that.
the only thing with that is if like we end up being really, really busy one day and I need to call another lifeguard, I just have to put the shift up there rather than, they can't just like punch them when they want to. It has to be like an assigned shift to them. So I would just have to make sure that I'm putting it in there.
Yeah, and
But it's not really a big.
There's a way to override that, because my girlfriend has a home health care business, and sometimes I work for her, and that's how we did it. And
It
she-
depends on the app. Do you guys use When I Work?
It's, Adware.
Yeah, When I Work, it's like, it has to be tethered into a shift and you can put in like, they can clock in up to this much before their shift or whatever.
Right.
So,
All right.
I think that it's a really good way, and it actually gives me a notification too, like right out instantly if they're late for their shift.
I don't think you need a vote to do that, because it's under your budget. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to present because I know you guys were interested in the time clocks, but I think that,
I think going in an online direction is probably what everybody's gonna end up doing.
yeah.
So.
I mean, the time clock is great and all, but with the monthly service, it ended up being like ridiculously expensive.
Okay.
So most of them are like $25 a month for the monthly service on top of the $350 setup fee of the
All right, so
actual
let's do that.
thing.
What about swim lessons?
So swimming lessons are actually running right now, we just started today. Our 9 o'clock session is completely filled for this,
Nice.
yeah, and we did end up doing 45-minute lessons, so as long as each class made $160, we were covered for the staff. And every class we're making money to actually run the whole 4-hour program, so I'm hoping that the next 2 sessions registrations start filling up a little bit more, but they have actually been filling, so I'm pretty happy with it.
It's great. Thank you so much.
We are getting complaints about the 2-week thing, but with the 45-minute adjustment, they're a little bit happier with it.
Are the complaints from people that are signing their children up for the first time, or are the complaints from
They're
people
from-
that knew it the old way?
It's from both. So it's from people that have heard word of mouth where like it was 5 weeks and they wanted to sign their kid up, it was 2 weeks, and then it's people who have been coming for years, like there's this family with twins that I've taught for years, and they were like, well, it's always been this much for 5 weeks, why is it all of a sudden this much, the same amount for 2 weeks, or more for 2 weeks?
But it is commensurate with what else is out there.
The only one that we're not in line with is Pembroke, but I talked to people who run Pembroke, and they are just obliterated, losing money, like.
They're losing money on their lessons.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they also run theirs differently, so they don't actually have daily passes or anything, so it's not really about making money for them, it's where it's breaking even. There's like a different account for how they run it, from what I could understand from the person I spoke to over there.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but women, we are actually more cost effective than women, so.
Great.
Can we just get a 3-year comparison?
Yeah. I'm pulling that all together.
Okay, great.
I just, when Bill asked me, I was like, one of our guards was sick, so I was guarding and I didn't have.
No worries, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't
Yeah.
lost.
I
Yes,
think
it
it's
is
great
ample.
that people are signing up, and I'm
Yes.
so pleased that we have enough WSIs, so thank you for that.
Yes.
That's great. It'll bring a lot of new people in.
Yeah, and kids are so happy to drop teaching lessons.
We just need discounts from, people with more than one child, so.
The other
who
towns
else does
around,
that?
Whitman does as well. They actually put a cap on it. Like they advertise it differently, but they do the same thing. Pembroke does the same thing. Most of the
Is it
recreational
as steep
programs.
as ours, because the 4th child is free, that blew me away.
Whitman, yes. Pembroke, I have to double check, but I think it was pretty close. The Pembroke lessons are $90 for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But they're, I think, less days a week from what I could understand on there. It was a very.
I don't think they're 5 days a week.
No, I don't think they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
okay, yeah, thank you. Is that it? Or-
that is basically it.
Fabulous. And are you going to do the cardboard boat races and stuff?
Yes, I just need to talk to Bill and see what days work, because I want that advertised through like here and everything too. I also have an email list of everyone's
Just
email
as-
address that I collected for you for the summer.
Just as we get closer to the end of July,
Yes.
I want to put everything out there
Yes.
because, you know.
We just have a lot of events on weekends, which is when we'd really be able to host it, but
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Okay, the trees. The only thing I was gonna say on the trees is that I was told today that the budget that was given to the town to cut down all the trees got slashed from 50 to 25,000. That's what I was told today. I don't know how that happened. I don't know what process they had to go through to get like that, to make that happen. I have no idea. So I counted the trees on the walkway coming up, and there, you know, he's got 47 trees marked at least right there. That's gonna change that landscape of that drive up significantly.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of them are dead or in the process of dying, and I understand that. So, however, now that the budget has been cut in half, not all of those trees are gonna come down. So I am going to see, what is the tree, I don't know the tree warden's name.
Dave.
Dave. So I'm hoping he will,
You got it.
thank you. All right, I'm hoping he will, save the wishbone tree because there seems to be some sentimental attachment among the people at the beach.
That one is like dangerous coming around the curve, though it blocks a lot of sight coming, and like I've almost gotten hit multiple times coming around that curve because of that tree.
Well, I'm just telling you what,
The one around the corner.
there are people at the beach that have dragged me down there to look at it. And anyway.
Well, I had a conversation with somebody today, you know, also voicing their concerns, and all I could really do is just reiterate where I'm not the tree warden. I said, you know, they're either diseased or bug infested, and I said, I support his decision more so.
He
I
knows
don't-
more.
Yeah.
Well, he knows more, and I certainly get where they're coming from in terms of not wanting to see the trees cut down. In a perfect world, I wouldn't want it to happen, but I would much rather see us be preemptive and take the tree down instead of having a story where tree falls on somebody and it's like, oh, why did they take that tree down?
Okay, and also, I know it's not on the drive up, but Brian pointed out that there is a tree that is actually leaning
It's on the north end.
on a
It's on the
cabin.
cabin.
So that really should be a priority
Yeah.
because people are renting. So if we could, when the tree warden does come, I'm assuming he's going to let you know, give you a heads up.
Yes.
So maybe you could
Mhm.
show him where
We
it is.
identified the most serious trees that could cause damage. I mean, if we can't get them all, let's get some.
Right, I mean, it's important.
Well, I'll ask him about that. I know with the initial thing that they were going for, it was supposed to be just for the corridor.
Just for the
And
drive.
they
This
were-
isn't a very big tree, it's probably about yay big, and it's just, if anything, it might create some damage with the roof at some point. I mean,
But that's important.
If it's manageable enough, I'll see to, I mean, these
If the caretakers can
gents
handle it.
might be able to,
it's not huge, it's just,
Yeah.
you know, again, it's about that thick, and if you cut it the right way, you can probably get it to drop down.
yeah.
If they can do it.
So I'll have them take
Right.
a peek, because if it's something we can have them do and
That
get
would be
it done
good.
quick.
The other thing I was going to say is, on cabin number 12, is it with the boat floor? The reason that floor is going, I was told by caretakers, is that there was a stump there, and that there are branches growing up out of the stump, and this tree is growing. That's actually what's causing the floor to do this. So that cabin is actually going to have to be moved.
It could be a treehouse.
Or, yeah, if it was lifted with an even floor, I'd let it fly.
Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe we can get a stump grinder in, or maybe when they come to do the trees, if they.
You're gonna have to move.
Well, 'cause you have to move the-
I know,
Stump,
that's what
gonna
I'm
be a
saying.
lot of dough. I mean, the cabin is in good shape, maybe we can move it somewhere else.
Fine, we may have, but one way or the other, we're either gonna have to move the cabin, or get the stump, move the cabin, get the stump grinder and put it back. So one way or the other, something's gonna have to be done with that path.
Yeah, I mean, we can look, it might be possible to start to remove some of the floorboards to get at the stump underneath.
Exactly,
Cut it
something.
out. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that might be an option.
So I just want you to let your contractor guy know.
We're going on the north end because with CPC.
Because that's where I'm on the CPC
Yeah,
money.
because we're
But
tied.
maybe he could still look at it and suggest something,
He might, yeah.
okay? So that's all I had to say about that. Yes, Matt?
So two things. I don't know if it's possible to, with this money that was allocated to remove trees from the camp, the white pines that are out in front of the lodge, they're gonna be dead within the next 2 years. So
I
you already can kind of, once the white pines, you see a little bit of burnt on them, well, they're just toast. So,
We were out there looking at that, remember? And just
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago,
you know,
right?
so I don't know if there's an option to kind of just trade out 1 or 2 trees on the road for those trees, because I think those are going to be more imperative to take down than.
I agree. There are maybe a couple of trees on the road that concern me. The ones that were originally tagged with green plastic tape. But truthfully, I'd rather see that money go toward the trees up here that can actually hurt the structures, the
Right.
lodges, everything when they fall. So I think, although it's a wonderful thing that they want to come in and take care of dead trees, I don't think they've prioritized it right.
Right. So I think that would be something.
So how would you suggest as a selectman that we go about bringing that to somebody's attention?
Yeah, so do you have a date yet that's scheduled?
It hasn't been set, no.
All right, so I think this is a good opportunity for Billy to reach out to Dave Hamlin and just say, hey, can we reprioritize which trees that we need to talk about? I know there's some hazard trees on the road end, let's address those, but there's also 2 or 3 trees that we want
That could be
to be addressed.
significantly
Right,
damaging.
because I think, as you stated, those trees out in front of the lodge here, just one bad windstorm, they all go. And seeing how we already lost a lot of white pines here, white pines do really well in groups. And once some of them go, they all start falling like dominoes.
Right, they're interdependent with their roots and everything.
Yeah. So then the other part of it too is like one thing that I'm going to try to put on the town warrant this fall is to do a matching grant with DCR, where it's actually my department, urban forestry. We do a 50-50 match with any municipality for tree planting. So that's something that.
Tree planting?
Tree planting.
And no white pines.
No, yeah, I would recommend white pines.
No, I mean, they're beautiful and I love them, but no.
And that is something we talk about, because I know people are concerned about taking the trees down. I said, well, we're at least gonna look at the possibility of for every tree we take, we'll find a place that we can plant a new tree. So even though it may not go right back in the front, we will supplement, our trees and, our oxygen and all that with new trees.
Right. Any other comments about this?
Also knowing, in the event, if we can't get it reprioritized, I know that in October with fall town meeting and all that, I believe FinCom, we could potentially go back in front of them to request the money that was held back.
Yep.
I don't know enough about how it happened before I got here, but I guess there is the ability that we can go back in front of them and say,
Appeal.
right, so that's an option too, like, hey, health and safety, we need at least X amount of dollars for that, but,
Well, the trees are a concern.
yeah.
Okay.
Hurricane might take care of that in that timeframe.
Well, Insurance takes care of the repairs. Okay,
Oh, I have one more thing that we
yes.
talked about earlier, so I crossed off my list.
Sorry.
The parking lot,
Oh, right.
I reached out to a few, because I actually looked up, like, the best way to, like, maybe chalk lines or whatever. I just need to figure out how to, like, configure the parking lot the best way. So I'm gonna try to get out there this week with a little tape measure and a chalk stick, and hopefully people will follow lines, just because it's been so.
Under.
It's like the spray, like they use on like baseball fields and
The
stuff.
chalk lines for baseball,
Yeah.
like the runner. Yeah.
They
Usually it's
have
a-
an automatic one, I won't.
Well, I mean, something definitely does have to be done
Because
because
it's been, like, I
there was no way,
on
a couple of days that an ambulance could have gotten in. There was no way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes,
Is
ma'am.
it- Oh, sorry. I think I got it wrong. I was like, if she got one, is it, can we use it?
it up top here to make lines on our parking lot? Just the
I-
square?
Well, I think
Parking
if
lot's a mess
If
during
the
big
camp
weddings.
Yeah.
absolutely, if the camp buys one,
Yeah,
and I think it's probably something we should look into,
yeah,
just to create, then yes, everyone would have access to it,
yeah.
yes.
I was going to reach out and see if Highway had any suggestions on doing that, too,
It's
just
a great
because it's
idea.
like a different shape than most things, and there's stuff in the way, and.
Yep.
Yeah.
Has there ever been any talk of asphalt? I know it's huge. around here.
Camp,
I think it's not allowed based on
Conservation.
conservation.
because it would change
From what
the
I
drainage
understood.
into the pond.
Yeah.
How about up here?
Again, same issue, runoff, drainage.
That's
Yeah.
I believe that's the issue, I'm not gonna say I know definitively, but I
Well, I
believe
think-
that is it.
I think
That
down
one
there,
is
it is just 'cause it's so close to the, in the little river.
Yeah.
Right,
Well, yeah,
Upkeep.
anytime that you do paving, you'll have to create catch basins.
right.
And then you're gonna have to go through that permitting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a camp. It is what it is,
It'd be great to have that done, but
okay? And
One quick
yes,
question on parking. Is
yes.
there a sign that says additional parking up the hill?
Down at the cove.
No, there is not.
Not
And
yet.
not yet.
I
Yet,
looked
we know.
into getting all the new quote signs and stuff too, I can add that to the list. I was waiting on a quote just based on, we took down the old, Fairway Cove sign that all faded, all the rules were.
But we need,
But I was
we
looking at maybe
need a
getting
new
a new one,
the old one shouldn't come down until a new one's ready to replace it, because we need to be covered insurance-wise.
well, all the rules are, they have to sign off on all the rules every day. The no lifeguard duty sign, you can't even read anyways, that's just what I knew it used to say. But they,
But people that didn't buy passes aren't signing anything, so people that are.
day
going-
passes and everything are signed off on.
Right, but the
Yes.
people that are using the cove are the people that aren't buying passes or anything, so we have to have something stated.
Yes, I ordered a little no lifeguard duty sign, it just, the old one, it didn't even, that you couldn't even read it. It
Right,
didn't
but
say
can we
anything.
copy those words, because it
Yes,
says no swimming.
yes, without lifeguard,
Right,
yes.
and the rules, you know.
The rules I put in for a quote from a sign company, actually 2 different sign companies online. I contacted like the local printing shops and they said they don't do the metal signs or the plastic signs, that we would need for like weather-wise, and a wooden one would just do the same thing, which is what like the old one did. So I'll have those hopefully for the next meeting.
Okay, and we might need a new tree to put it on.
Well, we can put it attached to the fence.
Okay, well, all right,
Yeah.
okay. Anything else? No? All right, Town of Hanson Library Season Pass.
Yeah, so it was brought up, my understanding is it's, I think something that the board voted on or approved.
We did.
I guess, okay. So I guess just getting more clarification on that, how to go about it. I know, we talked a little bit about it.
We did this last year. We approved, it was a suggestion, I think Laura suggested it, that there be a season pass at the library so that people can use it like a museum pass. They can have it for the day. So we give them a stack of day passes or whatever it is, a family.
No, it's, so just from the museum standpoint, they get their own pass.
Yeah,
Right.
and they have to return it to the
They have to
library.
return it to the- Well, actually, they don't do it, that they have books of passes now, so like when I go to, right, there's no one pass anymore, it's for a specific day, they're all computer generated, and usually don't have to return it, it's a paper ticket now. So, so
I
we
didn't know
need,
this was approved at all. I had no idea what it is.
right,
We didn't never approve it, we discussed it.
Yeah.
So I don't have the money, I don't know if it was a resident or a non-resident, what rate we're doing it to approve for Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, it was agreed upon at the Board of Selectmen
Selectmen
meeting
meeting,
when
yeah.
we were adjusting rates for
Right.
recreation.
for recreation, we did for the cove.
Yeah, I know that we didn't necessarily discuss it up here. Board of Selectmen gave it the blessing that it needed.
Right,
And, you know, that's why I just said, can we follow up on this, just because I wasn't sure if it was executed or not.
right.
No,
So-
I didn't know about it, so season pass, so.
So
you just
So-
never enter the
I'll
season
talk to the
pass.
library and see what they need. I'm
Okay.
just concerned because this is like the 3rd pass that we're giving away for this, 3rd or 4th pass that we're giving away for the season. Are we getting, I don't understand why we're not just doing the day passes for this.
Well, so,
One was a prize.
Yes, two of them are prizes.
yeah, but this one, it's more of, it's like a community outreach to in a way that
Okay.
there, you know, some,
I
like
just-
families that aren't gonna be able to
Yeah.
utilize a full season pass. My concern that I brought up only is
I'm just
that
confused
there's,
why they wouldn't do the day pass at that point.
well, cause it's gonna
It's
be a
per
pass.
person, it's a
so-
fee to bring your family.
So the library's gonna kind of hold this pass, and people can go to the library to kind of take it out for the day.
Okay.
So my concern only with it is that you could get people monopolizing it, so they go in, because if it's first come, first served, so there'll just have to be some sort of way to monitor that, so it's not always the same family, the same person always going to the library to take out the pass, because then it negates it being for the community, and now it's just become.
One person, well, really what happens is, the same with the Museum of Science, the Museum of Fine Arts and everything else, you just call on the day that you want and see if it's available, so it really is a first come, first served.
You
Like,
can
I
book
could-
them online too.
Yeah.
And you can do it online.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can book the pass, so I mean, I could call and say, is the Museum of Science pass being used Monday? No, okay, I wanna book it for Monday, I wanna book it for Tuesday, I wanna book, you know? I don't think they let you do that. I think they kind of monitor that themselves.
Well, is there a way for us to do that?
The library will.
I like the idea of doing it and giving people the ability to come that might not otherwise be able to do so. I just don't want it to be the same
People every
individuals
time.
all the time, because it could become privilege that gets abused if it's just not
And are
monitored.
we putting a limit on how many people they can bring with them, or is
I
it?
think-
Whatever your family of five is, so when we do this at the museum, the Duxbury Library, for example, we give them 2 passes, with the same number. So say, for example, it was pass number 65, they have 2 passes, because if a family comes in on Monday,
And they don't
and then
return
they
it.
don't return it, then they'll have another pass. So they have the same pass technically, but a couple of copies. Do you know what I mean?
But then what if multiple families, like one family holds on to it for the whole summer?
No, because then what will happen though is, when they come to show it to you, you can log it in. And if say for example, that same family came in, because you guys are logging it in, right? Then you'd have a double, then you'd have a problem, then you can call the library. And so for us, I'm just gonna use Duxbury Library, because we do have a family.
Yeah.
There's a dad that's off every Thursday, and he calls for that, so. And sometimes he gets like muscled out of the time frame, but he does use that quite a bit. In fact, that library purchases, the passes just for a small crew of family that typically use it, but they do monitor, they really do.
So is the library purchasing the pass, or are we just giving a pass? to
We're
the
giving
library?
it.
I believe I would be given a pass to the library, and then they would kind of oversee the checking in and out of it.
Maybe we should have some sort of rule, you get it once a week.
I think so,
I
and that,
think even, yeah,
well, maybe there's a way, maybe we'll set a meeting with the library just to say, okay, here's
Yeah.
kind of the season
You
pass again.
You can always call them and just say, I just wanted to verify that, this family, or if you wanted to, you could call the library in advance and say, hey, do you have the schedule for when these passes are out? Because they can just email that to you and say, hey, next week, these are the families that took them out. Because I'm telling you, families will, savvy moms out there looking to, save some money.
yeah.
Will get though, and they will be.
No, I understand the reviews, I use the museum ones all the time.
Yeah.
But museum passes aren't $5, they're more like $30 per person, which is why
She
Yeah.
needs to know so she can explain everything to the caretakers.
the gatekeepers, but,
I mean,
yeah.
not the caretakers, the planners, the
And you have to
gatekeepers.
remember, some of them are 14-year-olds checking people into the beach, they're not gonna think to call the library to see if this
Well,
person's
if
supposed to
they
have it.
should, well then that's something that, that's
Yeah.
language that you can, if it has to say library pass. And then if you can explain to them library pass means whoever holds that pass, has that. And then like I said, another thing is I'm sure you can call the library director and say, can you help us out?
Yeah.
Can you give us, if possible, can you give us kind of a listing weekly?
Or maybe there's a generic way that it's the pass, but like you said, it's almost like a printout or a physical copy, so they put the date on it. So
Yeah, or I
it's
can send them a-
7/25/2019.
Or I can send them a template where they print it out and it has the people's names who are supposed to be
For the
on the
day.
pass for the day, rather than you can bring whoever you want, because people will bring, I've had people try to bring 12 people on a pass that aren't registered to a pass.
Right,
And that's just,
So you get the free pass for 5, anything over that, they can pay the $5 per day.
I would even say 4.
Let's just leave it simple, $5 per day. Oh, you mean 4 people on a pass?
No, wait, what do you have 6 on the regular family pass, I swear I had to fill out.
It depends on, so I put 8 lines because there are some families in Hanson that have 6 kids. But I'm saying if we're giving this pass away,
No,
it
but-
should have to,
Not for the library,
realistically be-
it's very different. The library, the reason we're giving it to the library is because we're keeping in mind that there are families that may have 6 kids that most likely won't be able to afford it. So this is kind of like a social thing, like a social program, giving program. I mean, this isn't like we can't see this as we're losing that money. This is like a kind
like an
of
enrichment.
Community
goodwill,
outreach.
program. And incidentally, the library, for example, does a lot of things here. They have their,
Trivia.
trivia night is coming here. So I think, so that's what we have. If you have 8, that's what the pass entails, and they can bring up to 8. But be very
well,
careful.
I just put 8 lines on the application so that the family, we have families that have actually more than that per household.
But we can't.
Yeah,
8
exactly.
there's a
Yeah.
limit. Like you said, there needs to be a limit. 8 is very generous.
Yeah.
I mean, even big families, if mom and dad do come with 6 kids, then that's generous.
If they got 6 kids, they need that pass, they need to get down there,
Yeah.
because 6 kids, I can only imagine.
It's for 6 kids, it should come with a bottle of wine.
Where they gotta come up to the lodge though to drink.
So, do you want me to go to the library tomorrow?
I can go and talk to them,
Because I'm gonna be there.
yeah,
Let me know.
I can go.
Yes, Joan?
Yeah, well, they have to come into, they have to show us pass, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why can't we collect the pass at the time? I mean,
Well-
why are we letting
That's
them
what
keep the pass? Let us collect the
Well,
pass, so we can get it back to the library.
Right.
But then that's having someone have to go to the library, and that again, it would be a voluntary thing. Like, I could do it on my way home, but that's another stop on my way that,
Matt?
This is really simple. It's what the Museum of Science does, and what the Museum of Fine Arts does. You give them a binder at the beginning of the season with every day printed off.
Right.
And you just say, all right,
This is
at
your
the
pass for
library,
this
how
day.
many kids are you having? And you, five people, great, here you go. You take that piece of paper, go to the gate, here you go, gate attendant, I'm here with 5 kids, and then,
This is the date.
this is the
for
day.
and then
today's
you
date.
keep that piece of paper for your
Records.
records, and then done. Next day, new sheet of paper, same
I
thing.
could even just do it as a day pass, or just have
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And just have like
Okay.
the library stamp it or something.
Give them 180 or how many days we're open,
Yeah.
90 days, they are.
I
Okay?
didn't know they were supposed to.
Thank you.
I had no idea that we were supposed to do that. That was
Sort of got lost.
that and the bunny breakfast one got lost too. I didn't know that until she came down at the vote and she was like, I don't have a pass yet.
Okay, so we know communication needs to be started. Okay, our next meeting. The 29th, I believe? Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Someone like to make a motion to adjourn this
Let's do
meeting?
it,
Everybody want a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Can you shut that before?